y'all. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Davey. And welcome to the Business Party Podcast, brought to you by the Weekend Hangover. Hello, folks. If you see everything looks a little different today, it's because we couldn't get the Business Party Podcast stuff to work.
We could not.
No.
For some reason, StreamYard wanted to be a little weird.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's because everybody's streaming right now. Because
I tell you what, everyone is streaming right now. Rumble is like breaking right now. Like I was watching my friends on the Patriot Party podcast earlier, Mick and Velin, and I just had to keep refreshing because it would just stop playing a video. I was
Rumble,
like, what is going on?
Rumble
yeah,
just went out. So let me see if I could do it again. But yeah,
okay.
I think everybody is doing the debates and everything tonight. Trying to see if let's see, Rumble.
Well, I'll say what is brilliant is that Tucker Carlson is putting out his thing with Trump 5 minutes before the debate starts.
Oh.
His interview with Trump. And I personally would rather I don't know. I want to do both, but I don't know.
I mean, how do I want to get this out. How do I get that out? Remove this one. I mean, I figured we could start with the debates and then save changes. We online now. I don't know. I figured we could start with the debates and we could always hop over if the debates get boring and hop over to that one. Tell me it's working. I don't know. But yeah.
It looks like it is. Hold on, let me look.
Okay. It says waiting for stream. It says offline, but
No, I don't think it is. Oh wait, it says upcoming on Rumble. Oh no, there we are.
Yeah, it says make recording private after stream ends. I think I took it off. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Good. We're on Rumble, where nobody's going to watch us anyway. But welcome to the technicalities. But as you can see, technicalities. As you can see, our flagship person, the man, the myth, the legend that started all this, is not here today.
No,
he had a accident on his bike. I'm talking about his bicycle, not his motorcycle. He had a helmet incident. He put it on the wrong way and then decided that somebody called him a jerk because he did.
And he streamed it all on TikTok. Have you seen his streams, his biking streams on TikTok?
Yeah. I mean, listen. He's happy to have the bike. I wish I could put on my motorcycle and go to get taken off because, I'd been taken off for less. But sometimes when you get a bicycle, you're just a kid again. You're just brought back to being a kid sometimes when you get something as an adult.
Been on a bicycle, like one that actually moves, not a stationary one, in over 10 years.
Really?
Has to be. Oh, yeah. I still have, like my husband and I, when we got married, we gave each other bikes as like a wedding present from each other, and we never used it. So he got me like a comfy seat and everything. No.
Cody uses mine. I really didn't. I rarely use these. He's like, Dad, I took this off. I was like, God, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Whatever. And I went on it. Like, I've gone on it a couple times. I used to ride my bicycle to work and home, and it was nice. But like that first time when you ride it home or ride it, it's just like, God, I used to be in such a great shape. No.
Oh my God, yeah.
This is ridiculous.
What happened to the days where I just ride that shit all day, never get tired,
Remember
thinking I'm
that?
a BMX biker, jumping a curb that's like 2 inches high.
Dude, man. Remember back in the day when we used to do jumps and shit?
Yeah.
Did you do
Oh
the
yeah. We had
did,
speed bumps. Speed bumps in my neighborhood. And like we pretend those are big jumps, be like, whoa, totally tubular, bro. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
hung out with a lot of boys. There was like no girls in my neighborhood. It was just
listen,
like
when I was youngerish, well, most of my life I hung out with girls, but like I had a core group of dude friends, and it just changed as I got older. And yeah, we tried some shit and go. There was
you
actually
had some
I
boyfriends.
had some boyfriends. But growing up, I got along with I got along with girls because I tried to make girls laugh and stuff like that, and girls were like easy to make friends with. But then I became the you're such a good friend, and you get to that point where you hear that enough, you're just like, this is
Nope.
bullshit.
Yeah.
This is
You're like, nope,
bullshit.
nope. I'm done. It's over.
But
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool, but fuck you and you too.
but I mean, it's funny because the older you get, you kind of revert back to it, and
Mhm.
that's what women want. Like later on in life, they just want somebody to be a good friend and just to listen to them. And then, but you're like, but that train of douches you had to go through to finally be like, I think you're a nice guy. We could have avoided all this years ago. We could have you just decided like we were, but listen, but life takes you where life is supposed to take you, and gets you to where you're supposed to get. I went to therapy today, which was fun. So when I go to therapy, when I started therapy, she asked me to fill out this like 10-page thing. Yeah, that was 3 weeks ago.
It was an emotional. It's
it was.
basically an emotional anal probe,
It
right?
was. But like she asked it, like she gave it to me 3 weeks ago, or like first when I first started, she gave it to me, and she's like, "Yeah, fill this out so that way I can kind of do it." And I'm like, "Okay," but like I went there and I just word vomited. I'm like, "I don't have to fill that out." And she's like, last week, she's like, "You have to fill it out. I need it." And I'm like, "Fine." So today I'm sitting there, I'm like, and filling everything out, and I'm filling it. And then she asked this question about like your family history and who's had this and who's had that. And a lot of the shit was just mom, mom, mom. And she looked at it, she goes, huh, I know where a lot of your problems came from. And I go, I know. I'm writing it out, and I'm like, maybe I have an issue with my mother. and, and she's like, and then we're just talking, and I'm like, and then we're talking about all the other stuff because she goes into detail. She's great. She's great. Like she will
Yeah.
call me on my bullshit, and I like that. Like, and she's just like, listen, if you're gonna lie to me, this is not gonna work. And I'm like, are we like bucking? Like, this is not. I'm sorry, madam. I believe I pay you, and you get. But she's like, listen, just I don't care about this. I don't want to know Mister Podcast. I'm here to find out what's wrong with you. And I'm like, okay. When I was a little kid, you know, how
Oh
it goes.
boy,
But and
dude.
she's working. I mean, listen, I've seen her for about 4 weeks now, almost a month, and she's made some. We've made some great strides, and I think she's great. And I hate the therapists who are just like like, and how does that make you feel? But yeah, but how
Yeah.
did your mom in third grade when your teacher did that? Like, no, she actually is like, listen, cut the bullshit. And I'm like, my bad. she goes,
Yeah.
she's like, I get paid either way, so you can either help yourself or you can just not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, got a fucking point, lady. But yeah, so that was today. I had that therapy, and yeah, it was good. Listen, some people it works. I know a lot of people that don't like therapy, that don't go to therapy, but
Mhm.
for me, it's kind of working. It's making me realize a lot of shit, and
Yeah. When I
yeah,
was younger, I didn't like it because I went to school and I wanted to be a clinical psychologist for a while until I started, going through like my psych classes and stuff. And I was like, yeah, if I do this and I have to listen to people's problems all the time, I'd probably jump off of buildings. So I think I need to change it to something else. So when I was taking my GREs to go to grad school and like picking out like what I would want to do there, I just like I didn't I wanted to do sports psychology, but I couldn't find a school anywhere near me, so I just never did it. I took my GREs, everything. I studied my ass off, got a good score, and I just didn't do anything with it. But when I was younger and I was doing these different classes, I went through like a very traumatic experience during college where I saw some like heinous shit, and I went and I was taught, and they told me I needed to go talk to like campus like psychologist or whatever. And I was like, "Fuck this! No, I'm not gonna do it." And I finally did, and I was like, "Everything you're telling me, I already fucking know. Like, stop."
Well,
So, but it wasn't until I got older and I like went again for a while. It could be very cathartic for people if you, especially if you feel like there's like no one that you could really get it all out to. It's like a neutral party because like
yeah,
if you're wanting to really figure things out, going to a neutral party is the best bet,
yeah, because like you
in my
never
opinion.
you. I mean, listen, I don't know about you, but everybody I've been in a relationship has told me things, and then somebody else tells me the same thing, and I listen to that person, and they're like, "I think I told you that like a while ago," and I'm like, "Probably did, but you're too close to the
Yeah.
situation." So like, so like you, of course, you can tell me whatever it is, but you're close to it, so I'm gonna go, yeah. And then I was told that I
You're
just don't.
one of those that like is it like one of those that it has to be your idea?
No. You know what I thought of? I should go to therapy. Didn't I tell you that months ago?
Yeah.
No. But yeah,
Could
listen.
you imagine being with someone then like have like recordings of you? Like this is Thursday, March 15th in 2017, and then you play it back to you.
You know what? I kind of was starting. I've said that multiple times that like I'm going to write things down that I tell people, and then when they come back to me and they're like, I never told you that, and but my ADHD forgot that I had to write the stuff down, so that never happened. But I mean, listen, it is what it is. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's never too late. Okay, I just put it that way. It's
Hmm.
never too late. By the way, I went to a new church this weekend on Sunday, and I've been listening to Steve Furnick and Greg Goschel, two
Hmm.
great guys, right? Two those guys. I can put them on, and I can walk on water, and I can lift mountains, right? And then I went to this new church this weekend, which was kind of like the same, the same kind of format, singing, and then the guy's nice. I have to start off by saying that guy's nice, but I almost fell asleep. Thank God they had coffee. And these Furnick and Goschel, like they kind of have like spoiled me because they have you listened to these guys?
Yeah, one live. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen I went to Elevation Church when I was living near Charlotte,
Okay.
uh, like once. I mean, it was great. Like, well, a woman that I worked with, she was really she like was really into the church and a part of the church and stuff. I mean, when you're there, you're just like, it just takes over you.
Yeah, it does, and it's. I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and this is hmm, I don't know which one to play. Because it's just the man's messages are great. Like you
Right.
just you can feel down in the dumps and listen to Steve, and all of a sudden you're like I said, you could just uh
Well, while you're looking at that, I'm going to just tell the few people that are watching, thank you for watching, by the way. We are going to be talking about like debate stuff in just a little bit. We're just,
it's not gonna
yeah, because that stuff is all happening soon. And The title of this video is not misleading, I promise. We'll get into it. Which, by the way, did you see Rudy Giuliani's mugshot?
No.
Ooh.
Well,
All right. Find your stuff. I'll find all this. Okay.
So this is Steve Furtick. Like I said, this dude can make me run through a wall. All right. By the end of like his sermons, I'm like, I got this. I got this.
This close to your breakthrough. You are this close to being the person. God, you are this close to your freedom. You are this close to your kids turning around and coming back to God. You are this close to your miracle. I know I didn't come this far to fall down now. You are this close. The most honest prayer you pray will be the most godly prayer that you pray. So she says, I expected you to come. Did you not get the message? You left me on red. You left me in my hurt. And Lazarus kept getting sicker and sicker. And my faith got weaker and weaker. And at first I thought, well, just surely he's been detained. But then I found out you didn't come on purpose. If you would have been here, if they would have raised me, if they wouldn't have abused me, if you would have stopped it, if you would have prevented it, if you can do all things, why didn't you do what I needed you to do that I've seen you do for others? I saw you heal people. I saw you touch lives. I saw you take better care of people who treated you worse. But you have confused my love with conformity to your agenda.
Like, it just, his sermons are amazing. And like, so I went to church and it wasn't as amazing as that. I was just like, and so I went on YouTube.
No, it's like the recorder playing the Star Wars.
It was. Yeah. And so I go, I mean, like I said, the guy did a great job. Very, very good dude. But I went and Googled how to become a pastor right after. I was like, well, let's see how hard this is going to be. Because I was just like, like I said, Steve and Greg, they do such a great job. Like Steve is this guy like that's, Steve is a guy who's like in your face and screaming. And Greg is this guy that just like, you can feel his passion. Like when he preaches, like you can feel it. And he's just like, and you're just sucked in. And these guys have gotten me through the last couple of months. And like, I wish I could just like personally thank them because he's going to, I know Elevation Church is going to be in Kansas City. But
really?
Yeah. So like, if I get a chance to go, I'll go. And I just want to just fucking shake his hand and say thank you, man. Like,
are they going to do like a satellite campus or something there?
They have satellite campuses, I believe. Like, I think there's one in Newark. I think there's one in Kansas City. I think he's got a couple of them. But yeah, but I mean, listen, I don't continually want to be preachy on here, but like it's these guys have just helped me, along with everybody else through a lot of the stuff I've been through. But it's nice to be, it's different, and that's what I love about it. It's not the same like get up, stand up, sit down, get up, sit down, stand up to get. They make it fun and entertainment.
It's the previous Catholic in you, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I knew
was a multiple point. I wasn't touched. But yeah, so but I mean, listen, I was trying to get us till 6:30 so that way we can start watching the debates and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's been my week. How's your week?
I have been suffering this week from MTSD. For those of you who don't know what MTSD is, it's mass traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. Because everyone's been talking about the like masks being implemented again and into like different places and how the government is like looking to lock us down again by the winter. And I really started having like some some like
Anxiety?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know that
Because
feeling.
I know it's and I was talking to my husband about it and he was like, "Well, we're not in Jersey anymore." And I was like, "I understand that, but still like having that feeling
Yeah.
like no one can describe the feeling that it was cuz you were in New Jersey too when it
Mm-hmm.
started. So you know that like it's this feeling of just like this oppressive but scared at the same time and like wanting to do something, doing it but feeling extremely frightened and like panicked because you are not knowing like okay, am I going to be on the nightly news, am I going to be on am I going to go viral on YouTube, or are they going to take my kids away from me?
See,
Because that's
that's
the one that scared me the most.
that's the one that's the scariest. Everything else, fuck
Yeah.
them. Especially this time, like, and I'm glad I'm in Kansas now. But especially at this point, I think more people are on the side of go fuck yourself. There's a lot
Yeah.
more people on that side, and nobody gives a shit anymore. So the
Yeah.
government's gonna have to come up with something, and it's not. And the thing is, it's not the government; it's the people. The people who
Mhm.
are so scared of such bullshit that they're listening to the government with this nonsense. That's who you have. That's who you're, afraid of. Because you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
I had anxiety like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Even if when they stopped really enforcing the masks, you still got
Mhm.
anxiety, and you still were just like when I had the mask on, I felt I had anxiety and I felt claustrophobic, and I was like, like I really, if somebody would have came up to me, like, and I did get into almost a fist fight, like, and I was scared, and,
Mhm.
and but now, no,
Yeah. Like my kid was in kindergarten. Like I well, okay, so we actually had moved from another state to New Jersey right as they locked everybody down. So we didn't have time to get him set up with a school. We didn't have time to do anything. So his second half of preschool, he didn't do because well, and no one really did anything anyway. So it just doesn't really matter. It's a moot point. But when he had to go to kindergarten, it really fucked with me because I was the only one that I fought with the school a lot. Let's just say they knew who
uh,
I was very early on. Um, and I fought with a lot of people, and I don't enjoy confrontation. I don't. I'll do it, but I don't like it. And so with my child, I was fighting with the people with the school, and I was like, "You've got to be shitting me!" Like it's 90 degrees outside, and you have these kids playing outside with masks on. I
yeah,
yelled at them. I was like, "My kid has food inside of his mask, and he's been there all day." So then I finally got it, and I talked to his doctor, and we got him to be able to wear a face shield. Then they start discriminating against my child and stop taking pictures to put up on, like their thing, like the school had this thing where they would put like pictures of like what the kids were doing that day, and they stopped putting pictures up of him because he was the only one that was wearing a face shield.
because they didn't
And
want
they
to
didn't want
advertise
they didn't yes, they didn't want other people to
to know.
see to know.
Yeah,
When he went to first grade, we had to go for like orientation, and they were like trying to bully me and him to put masks. And I hand them a letter and I said, no, his doctor says he doesn't have to. If you you need a copy, I've got 5. Like don't fuck with me.
yeah,
Like I'm not doing this.
yeah.
And then I was pregnant during this too, so that was horrible because I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask places, like that's fucking stupid.
It's
And
stupid. It's
yeah.
fucking. Did you see the
And
girl that Biz duetted today?
no.
Okay, because I put a comment and I tagged you in it because we should have her on the show, because she was talking about it. Like, I don't. If you're stupid enough to still think that these masks really prevent you from getting sick at all, listen, there are
Right.
some people that, yes, okay, there are gross people out there. I'll give that to you. There are people that go to the bathroom, don't wash their hands. I mean, and now, like, everything went back to normal. Everybody's like fighting, spitting on each other, licking ice cream. Like nobody give a fuck now. All right. But like, it's just, people are just stupid and gross. So if you want to wear a mask, all power to you. Wear a fucking mask. That's fine. If you got to go into the hospital and they want to make you wear a mask, I mean, listen, there's a lot of sick people, so it's a catch-22 in there. You know, you don't want to get whatever anybody else has, but like,
I don't no, I don't think anywhere you should not force people to do something, because as a person who does suffer from anxiety, I had so many anxiety attacks. Like I stopped going to the grocery store for a while and just doing pickup orders when I could, because I was having panic attacks in stores and stuff. So like forcing someone to do something like that, especially, I mean, even in a hospital, like, I don't think so. I don't think you should force anyone to do it. I'm just saying.
I just have an opinion. God, you don't have to jump.
Well, your opinion sucks, so
you don't have to jump up my nose for it. But yeah,
no, my opinion is the only one that matters.
This is true. I'm sorry. But yeah, people are just they're set in their own ways, and they want it. Like people want to live forever, and you can't, and you can't always live in fear, and that's the problem. Everybody's living in fear that they're going to die from this thing, and they don't even look into it. They just go, okay, that's what the news said. Okay, that's what the government said. But how many things have we talked about just on this show that have come to fruition? How many things will we write on? How many times do we have to be right, or people have to be right for you to go, maybe I shouldn't listen. Maybe I should just, when the news is telling you, don't do your own research, that should have given you everybody should have went, wait a minute. No. Yeah. I'm not gonna just sit back and not question anything. You know? So yeah, I mean, once again, if you are vaccinated, it'll prevent you from getting sick. What do you care? Ta-da!
Allegedly.
But yeah, like that's what I don't understand. Well, you know, the shot for the flu doesn't guarantee you to. Okay, well then stop taking the flu shot.
Ooh, by the way, they're starting to put mRNA stuff in flu vaccines too.
Everything, even in the meat that we eat, they're feeding it to the cows. It's going in everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get it either way. But I mean, at least you're not getting a direct into your veins kind of thing. You know, maybe it'll be broken down little by little, but you know, it's, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's how my week went. Just reliving all that stuff. And I didn't really realize it until I was actually texting you and Biz today, like how bad it really did. Like I knew I've always had anxiety and stuff. And when COVID happened, I was fine. Until I saw parents masking their children. And then I remember I was in a parking lot of Target, and I was on the phone with my mom, who was in North Carolina, and I was in New Jersey, and I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I saw a mom with 3 kids get out of her car, and all the kids had masks on. And this was before it was like mandated for everybody, right? I lost it. I just start crying. I was like, why? I cannot believe this. It was, yeah. So I was just like reliving all that shit today.
Well,
in this week,
I told you about the time that I got the cops called on me, right? I don't know if I don't remember. So okay, so I was at work, and this lady comes in, and we had the shield. You know, at that time it was and I'd left it up. It was the shower curtain, clear shower curtain, double. It was, you know, I took the one side, flipped it, and put it back up, and it worked. It was great. So this lady comes in like early in the morning, like 8:15 in the morning, and she asked me, she goes, "Why are you not wearing a mask?" And I go, "Because, well, we have this between us, and you have your mask on, so what does it matter?" So as I'm answering, her daughter's taking off her mask. Now her daughter's 2. And I knew this because she said her age. And So she keeps, as I'm answering her question, she keeps taking her daughter and putting the mask back on her face, and keeps putting her mask again. Her daughter's like, and she's crying and everything like that. And she had a baby with a mask on. Okay, in a stroller,
Well,
like an infant,
yeah.
with a mask on.
My.
Yeah, with a mask on. So she stops talking to me. She looks at the 2-year-old and she goes, "If you don't keep your mask on, I will not give you breakfast. Do you want to eat or do you not want to eat?" And I'm like, huh? Did you just tell your daughter we weren't going to feed her? She's like, well, she's got to keep the mask on. Anyway, and again, why don't you have a mask on? I go, because there's something between us right now. Do you want me to take care of you or do you want me to ask you to leave? And she's like, whatever. So I take care of her, and then she walks out in a huff. The cops come about an hour later. And, I said I had a gator on. Oh, we have comments. Abel was in here. Hey,
Abel.
Remember?
Eats the bugs.
It's the bugs. So the cops come in. There was just one cop. He had a gator on, and I had a gator on. I had the gator on. I just didn't have it up. Sometimes I pat it up. Whatever. So the cop came in, put my gator on, and I'm like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Yeah, we got a complaint about a lady said that somebody in here wasn't wearing a mask." And I go, "Yeah, it was me."
Why were they wasting their time on that?
Because somebody called. And I go, "Yeah, it was me." He goes, "Well, I can't really tell you, but you really should be since you're indoors." And I go, "Okay, no problem. I got a question though. Did the woman tell you that she threatened to not feed her 2-year-old child if she didn't keep her mask on?" And he goes, "No." Ooh. And he goes, and I go, "Yeah, you might want to go check that out, because she told her 2-year-old child if her mask didn't stay on that she was not going to feed her. I think there's a little bit of a problem with that lady." And he goes, "Okay, thank you." And he walked out, and they never came back again.
It's so hard. Like, now looking back on everything, retrospect, hindsight, whatever you want to call it, wisdom, maybe. I was so angry at everybody and everything when, I feel bad for that woman. I feel bad for that woman and for those people who literally, like how we're talking about having anxiety about just wearing the mask and having it on. They're having anxiety because they're told literally, if you get COVID, you're going to die. So it was the perfect way to divide people, to pit people against each other. And one person is thinking the other person's stupid while the other person is thinking that a person not wearing a mask is literally going to kill them. I can feel bad for them now, but if they do the same shit that they did last time and blaming everything on the unvaccinated, saying that they need to be basically pinned down and forced to get a vaccine, then maybe you're the baddie and you need to open your eyes.
Are we the baddie?
Are we the baddies?
But here's the thing. When you have an article come out that says, "Hey, can we squash all this?" And we didn't mean that you guys are the
COVID amnesty.
Yeah, we're sorry, we didn't think. And now you want to try this shit again? That's a narcissistic relationship. That is a guy that comes in and beats you constantly, and then says he's sorry, and then you forgive him. And then he comes back and beats you again. If you believe that if these people are really truly sorry, let's see what happens this time. And it's going to happen because the government's already spending billions of dollars on all these regulations. And do you think this is not by design? Do you think, once again, this is not by design? There's a presidential election coming up. They're going around now and debating. There's a guy in the White House that doesn't know how to not shit his pants. They're
or fall
giving
asleep during a memorial home.
dude, Hawaii was bad.
All right, hold on. No, finish what you were saying.
Okay.
And then, because I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Like,
go ahead, because you're on a roll.
Like, do you not understand? Like, this is done by design. There's a guy. They're giving billions of dollars to a country that we should not be giving billions of dollars to, and then there's an island that is a U.S. citizen island that they gave $700 to. Once again, we're getting fucked. I'm going. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. American citizens are getting fucked every single day while we turn around and have the money that we give to the government sent to another country.
Yeah.
And we had an island that just went up in flames, and you want to offer $700 to every single person? We locked down our country for 2 years, and you turned around and gave us $600 checks, and I don't want to fucking hear a word about, oh, Trump this, Trump that. You know who holds the purse? Congress. It was fucking Congress who did it. Okay? So I don't want to hear nothing about Trump. No. This is Congress. They're the ones who control the money. If you look at the bills, you can go back and look at the COVID bill if you want. You're more than welcome to. Go read it. Go see how much money went to this and that and this and that, to the Liberty, the Kennedy Science Center. $25 billion here, $25 billion there. And what happened? We got $600 checks, and everybody fucking rejoiced as we went to the store and we were herded through.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give me anything. I don't want to hear a word from one person who tells me to put a fucking mask on. Okay? Because I'm not letting that shit happen again. I'm sorry. It's not happening again. You have people out there who are getting anxious and who are getting pissed off and who, I'm not sick. Why do I have to act like a sick person? It's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it. You're sick.
Right.
When you're in the hospital, do you make everybody else sick so that way you don't feel better? So that way you feel better? No. You're sick. You stay the fuck home. When you got the flu, do you go to work and make everybody else, have the flu because you have it? No. You stay home. Like it really pisses me off.
I don't understand what the purpose is of doing it again, unless it is to put the country in a national emergency again because of it, and give all the power over to the WHO, and then you have the UN white hats come in and white helmets come in and just like take over, and then help you, like, yeah, Jackie reporting from FEMA Region 7, like, because that's the scariest part, because it I don't know, it's just it's just how it is.
It's scams call that they warrant out for.
I got a scam call that there was a warrant out for my arrest for missing jury duty. First red flag. He called me from California in a county I never lived in.
I mean, it's. I don't
my
know,
husband
man.
got a notice for jury duty in New Jersey, and I was like, they need to update their records. We haven't lived there in like a year. And then I was like, oh, hun, we should probably check the voting records in our county when the election comes up, because I'm pretty sure they'll probably be voting for us.
That's what I've been talking about for years. They don't update anything, and then they expect people to just be like, they send everything through the mail to the house, and they're like, well, the guy hasn't lived there in a year, and a lot of people who deliver mail are just like, well, whatever, and just deliver it anyway.
Yeah.
So what's
I'm pretty sure with how often my husband and I have moved, like we've moved to 5 different states in 7-8 years. So I'm pretty sure there's a roll out there. If they wanted to get me, they'll be like, someone voted twice. I'm sure so. All right, hold on. Where did we steal ballots and just fill them out for people. We'll find that bitch there, I promise.
I forgot the chat over here. Willie Chess is commenting on X.
Oh, all right. Hold on. I gotta go. I gotta check on X now. But I'm keeping an update on the Tucker Carlson interview dropping. It should be dropping soon.
11 minutes until the debate starts.
Yep. So. And about 7 minutes until the
Tucker
interview with Trump starts.
But yeah, man,
Jack, come on in, and if you want to.
Yeah, join us, Jack. Come on, join us. But yeah, man, it's the narcissism of these people, and if you do comply, I'm sorry. I'm completely sorry for you. I don't feel bad for you because I will give you the last one, and that's it. And I'm not going to hold anything against you from the last one because I understand everybody was scared and nobody understood it. But if you still allow them to dictate how it is, you're part of the problem.
Dude, I'm telling you, it feels like it's like all this stuff is happening. It's just like it's that picture, that meme of like that figure that was holding a stick, poking something, saying do something. Like we're in that right now between, you know, the whole Trump indictment thing. Then all of a sudden you've got the mugshots that come out today. You've got the debate that's going on. You got the thing that happened in Hawaii and Biden be a fuckhead on that. Then you've got people starting to talk about COVID again, right? Stuff is coming out about Jan 6th. There's stuff coming out about elections and stuff in Fulton County that happened today, too. Like, it's just one after another after another. It's just like, it's the more that they're covering up about like the Hunter Biden stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on. You really telling me they're going to do the Hunter Biden thing and the next day Trump gets indicted, another Hunter Biden thing and Trump gets indicted? You don't see that?
Yeah.
What?
I'm just saying, like, this is all culminating into, like, you know how Tim Pool always says, oh, Civil War. It's like, honestly feels like all these things are happening on purpose to, like, force someone's hand to make the first move.
We're not ignoring you, Abel. Stop. Listen, I understand you still have estrogen going through your body, but relax, okay? Right? We see you. Why don't you come up, Abel? Tell your publicist to let you come on up. Come on and join us.
If you want to come join us, let me know. I'll send you a link.
But yeah, there's so much shit going on, and people just look past it. People just look past it. And they're so focused on hating one person. One fucking, like, why do you spend so much time hating one person instead of, hey, maybe there's an issue like Biden. Like, listen, I don't hate Biden. I don't give a shit about Biden. I give a shit about everything else that's going on around him because it eventually affects everybody else. It sets precedents. Do you not understand that?
Mm-hmm.
It sets precedents. Watching Tucker soon.
We're watching Tucker on here soon too.
I mean, was that your nickname?
Dude.
Sorry. Well, but yeah, like it's
Abel. No.
it's like, guys. I don't know, man. There's just so much shit that's possibly. And people just want to go about their day and not care about it. And it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that we're in this place where here we are talking about politics all the time. There's nothing really else to talk about. But these people are just like, hey, look, hey, guys. Yeah. Did you see this happen? No, I'm trying to make sure I live. I'm trying to make sure that we stay rich or we have money. Like, I don't understand Bidenomics is a good thing that they're talking about because gas is about to hit $4 a gallon here.
Can someone explain to me what from the top, or was it is it the bottom up, middle out? Is that what he always says? It's like he's like, we're gonna grow the economy from the bottom up, middle out. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm like,
yeah, you know what a butt looks like, right?
What does that mean?
Because you got 2 legs and you pull the middle out and you go from the bottom up. You're getting it right up the keister. That's what that fucking means.
So speaking of bottom, did you see that Queen's Fat Bottom Girls has been canceled?
No.
That song has been canceled.
No way. There he is.
Ha! What's up, guys?
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Jack has joined us.
Davey, I was just watching you guys live right now, and just hearing you is getting me pumped. It's like, no, right? Oh my god, that's exactly what's good. But this time we got knowledge, we're wisdom, we're on the top of it, and man,
Listen, man, listen. I've always said this from the jump. I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm not the most well-read. I'm not the most coherent sometimes. But if I can see this shit, it should be pretty fucking easy to see. And if you're not pissed off about this, there's a problem. Then you're a sheep. Then you're the sheep, and you're just going along with it.
Yeah.
And
I feel like though, everyone, even though you could be pissed off, and I know I was too, and everything like that, and it's just like I feel like this time around, I need to keep, because I know I see this time around. Hopefully, it doesn't happen, and we're just talking, and it doesn't happen. But just to keep a cooler head to actually see things clearly, and not trying to make my fellow man my enemy, but actually know who it is to blame instead of blaming each other. Tell the people who are pissing you off, no, instead of being pissed off at me, you need to be pissed off at this person or whatever who's making the decisions for you to feel this way. Because as much as I feel like everyone's like, oh, well, fuck Fauci, blah, blah, blah. No one, what happened to Deborah Birx? She just kind of went away in her hidey hole and would never to be seen again.
Where is that little pipsqueak? Where is that little pipsqueak, by the way?
Rachel Walensky, she's to blame too. Mike Pence, he was the COVID czar. He's to blame too.
What is it?
All the governors are to blame too. Trump is to blame too. I mean,
well, yeah, definitely.
But I will say it was the biggest civics lesson that the country could have ever learned.
Yep.
There has been more focus on local elections than there has been in the past 50, 60 years because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since national media became a thing and people stopped getting their AM, PM papers from their local company, everyone's been focused on the national stuff. And now finally people are actually going back to their local people and being like, no, what's up? To the point where California has to threaten their own citizens with jail time and paying up to $1,000 because they said something untoward that the school board doesn't like.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's great to watch these little these town halls where people are actually going after their the mayor and all this, and the fact that you can watch them just sit there and say nothing, not a word. They don't have no retort, no nothing. They'll just sit there. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. And that's it. And it's like, you fucks. You are supposed to be doing what we want. You're not supposed to be doing whatever you want. And it's good that these mayors are sitting there and making these speeches, and you get to see these idiots who you truly voted for. And remember, people, your local mayor is local. So if you see him out, you can have a conversation with him. And if you don't like him, you can tell him, I will vote you out. And I will make sure that you never get back in. You can run for it. Run for all the offices. Run for local offices, because they're the ones who really enforce everything. And if you have a sheriff make sure you know the sheriff. Make sure you vote for the sheriff that you know will follow their constitutional rights. All our constitutional rights, because the sheriff is the only one that abides by the Constitution. The sheriff is above the municipal police.
Mhm.
So I mean, like you said, this has been this biggest civics lesson, because I didn't know all this stuff either. I thought that, hey, you know, presidents make the rules and then it goes down. No, it goes from the bottom up. I guess that's what Biden was talking about.
Bottom up, middle out, I guess.
Jack, what's your joke?
The joke. Oh, yeah. Fucking the new variant. They're calling it Ba, as in talking to the sheeple. Ba. Ba. So that's what I got from it. Because I saw it was BA something, but I was like, just say it's
it was like BA 2659.
Yeah.
Damn, she's fine. Baby, let me hit it one more
Well,
time.
my name
Hello.
Sorry, I had to change something. Hold on.
Then I have 3 minutes. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, he's frozen.
He's always frozen. I told you, it's that California nonsense.
Damn it, Hillary.
But at least listen, at least he's got a nice picture, like all happy and
I
stuff.
know. And I like how next to him it just says this dick. So
This
it's
dick.
amazing.
Hats off to Mr. Ben here.
But yeah, man, you're right, Jack. This was the biggest civics lesson and you can primary the fuck out of people. Sorry.
Yeah.
You don't like
more
it?
power than
It woke me
we're
up
just taught
in
that we
2020.
have more power than we think we do if we just wield it.
Yeah.
It sure woke me up in 2020. I used to be one of those people that was wiping down groceries and shit.
And shit. So anyway, yeah. I was too. I mean, no, I wasn't. I didn't wipe down shit. I was just like, once again, you know how much dirty shit is out there? You put things on the floor, you walk in your house, you don't take your shoes off and stuff like that. So like, what are groceries gonna do?
Well, here's the thing. So I bought masks and stuff in December of 2019. Reason being, Alex Jones, man, I was watching Alex. He was calling it. That's when I started getting freaked out because all these videos were coming out from China of people just like standing there and then all of a sudden dying in the streets, right?
Yeah, those are some crazy videos.
I saw that back in in the end of 2019. So I bought masks. My whole family thought that I was nuts. All right,
and they still do.
And I bought like cloth masks or whatever because I was like, I don't know what the hell's happening. And then once the lockdowns happened, and I was like, holy shit, like this is what I saw over in those China videos. Literally within 2 weeks, my whole perspective of everything changed. Because I was like, whoa. Things aren't adding up to what they're telling us. And then everything changed. And then that's actually when I stopped watching Alex Jones for a while because I was just like, you fucked up. You made me scared. And it was wrong. You weren't wrong that they were going to lock us down, but you were wrong that we were all going to die.
Those China videos that came out were scary. You were watching people just die. Just right there so everybody thought that that's what and then when you started to see people like slowly pass away and not really, nothing. I mean, they were getting sick in the hospital, and then they were talking about it's in your lungs, and then they started putting ventilators, and you're like, hold on, you're telling me you're getting fluid in your lungs, but they're taking and putting ventilators in your stuff? Hi, buddy. Like,
we learned about the incentives, not to mention, scoop a loop,
40,000 per incident.
Yeah.
Well, here's the beginning. The debate has begun. Let's take a look at what we have on the scorecard, ladies and gentlemen.
Scorecard. Oh, Yeah, here we go.
By the order they
love
sit
you.
in the polls, with the highest
Bye,
polling
baby.
candidates
You know,
in
you
the
do
middle,
that,
standing
I'll
center
look for the
stage.
Tucker one.
Florida Governor
I have
Ron
it.
DeSantis.
I mean, out on the TV where I'm in. Where I'm at.
Oh no, it's on.
Oh shit.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's
Former
on
Vice President Mike
Twitter.
Pence.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
I don't have Twitter on PlayStation.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Do you think it might be on YouTube?
No, probably not. Well, it might. I don't know.
Yeah, it is Trump. They might not.
And North Dakota
I had it paused
Doug Burgum.
on Vanderpump.
Some ground rules for tonight. We'll ask the questions, and then candidates get 1 minute to answer. If someone is singled out, you get 30 seconds to respond. And when the time runs out, we all will hear this. Very pleasant.
This is the fucking Price is Right.
So tonight, these candidates have a big
Dang. Okay, so
opportunity
they've got
to break out
Vivek
of the pack and to explain
and
why they are best prepared to be the
He's
right
right in
the
choice
middle.
for president.
Right
At
there.
a time when the likely Democrat nominee, President Joe Biden, is working to convince
I like
the
Tim
country
Scott.
But
I
they
think-
want Nikki
Bidenomics,
Haley in
things
there
are
so
looking
bad
up.
too. It's
Yeah.
it's
They
insane.
call my plan Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
But is it? More than 65% of Americans say the country is headed in the wrong direction. And here's the reality for some voters we talked
Do
to
you think
here
they're
in
going to
Wisconsin
mention
this
Trump
week.
at all?
Oh yeah.
We have noticed a dramatic increase in prices at the grocery store just across the board.
Gas is high and food is high.
Rent is
a lot
too
of
damn
people
high.
out here homeless.
I
because
thought he
they
said
can't
gays
buy
are high.
food.
It's tough when you got mortgage rates at 7%
like, yeah,
versus 2 to 3.
that's San Francisco
It's just,
for you.
You can't afford the house anymore.
It's
a San Francisco treat.
ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
As we sit here tonight, the #1 song on the Billboard chart is called Rich Men North of Richmond.
Oh, Oliver.
From Farmville, Virginia, named Oliver Anthony. His lyrics speak of alienation, of deep frustration with the state of government and of this country. Washington, D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what
Oh
you
shit.
think.
Sorry.
Wanna
Know what you do.
And they don't think you know, but I
Know that you do.
'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men north of Richmond.
So, Governor DeSantis, why is this song striking such a nerve in this country right now? What do you think it means?
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable, it's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline. And it starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed.
The fuck
again.
is
We cannot
Bidenomics?
succeed as a country.
Nobody knows.
I
People are
got
working
to
hard,
know.
you can't afford groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden
Hey,
can make
man,
hundreds of
it's about a
thousands
gift
of
card.
dollars on lousy paintings.
Still don't know what that is either.
Wrong.
True to set
also
on pressure.
cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices. We're going
Why
to
doesn't his
open up
eyebrows move?
Loomer
all
called
energy
him
production. We will be
on the
energy
spectrum,
dominant
on the
again in
autistic
this
spectrum.
Why doesn't his eyebrows
Surely
move?
could be done in the state of
Botox.
Florida. I pledge to you as your president, we will get the job done, and I will
You got
not
a
let
good
fan
you
on, though.
down.
You got Ross Perot ears though.
Governor Christie, do you agree with Governor
he's
DeSantis
handsome.
just said there? And why would you be better on the economy than him?
He's not.
Look, I do agree predominantly with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. I think that if you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas and be able to put ourselves in a position where we get a majority of the vote, not only by winning the Congress and the Senate, in 24, but also by having
Fucking
someone who's
hot
had the
dog just comes
experience
out
of
of his
doing
mouth.
it. Now, I was elected as a conservative Republican in a blue state with 61% of the vote,
Hoagie.
with a Democratic legislature against me the
I
entire
would be
time.
impressed
And
if
we
he was wearing
still,
like a Hoagie
through
Fest t-shirt
hard,
underneath his.
strong
I'm still trying to see
decision-making,
what his tie is.
brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey.
He bought a Wawa
We
tie.
cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad
And then I closed the
democratic
beach in New
ideas, we
Jersey, and
stood
I was the
them.
only one
And
there.
when
It
they
was
were good
great.
ideas, we
I
brought
closed
people
a
together to
bridge.
make progress going
It
forward.
looks like little elephants.
Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight
Why would
waste.
you do that?
And I'd say the last thing
Why
is
would you
that
do that?
We cannot sit by any longer and allow
Because he's
the kind of spending
Republican,
that's
and he
going on in
wants you to
Washington,
know
as every
how
dollar
Republican
spent
he
is
is.
a dollar that these people
It's
are
because
not
that's
allowed
his
to spend
family.
on their children and
Elephants.
their grandchildren.
Look how big
It's
this
robbing
fucker
our
is.
country, and it's
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New Jersey, when you were governor, had the second lowest credit rating in the nation after Illinois, and it was downgraded 11 times.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you inherit a blue state that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by 3 Democratic
We need to
gubernatorial predecessors
keep
of
in
mine
mind
who
if
ran up
like
that debt
they're actually going to
tremendously.
give
And what you
DeSantis
also
all
saw us do
softballs
was to cut the
and like
unemployment
bust
rate
the
in
nuts of
half.
everybody
It was
else
over 10%
and
when I became governor in
ovary
2010.
of
What we
everyone
also
else.
did was cut
Don't want to leave
pension
her
payments
behind.
to public employees.
She's got
to
bigger
make sure
balls
that
than most of the guys on that
taxpayers
fucking
were not being
stage.
soaked by a public
Yeah.
employee union system that was killing the taxpayer.
Thank you, Governor.
Tim Scott, Senator Scott, excuse me. The song also goes after welfare programs. As a senator, now President Biden argued for freezing federal spending, this was back in the 80s, and dealing with sacred cows. He does not talk about that anymore. You have been a senator, though, for 10 years. So what have you done to rein in the increasing size of government?
Well, thank you for the question. Over the last several years, I've had an opportunity
I
to vote
hate
against
questions like
spending
that
package
because it
after
just kind
spending
of
package
like,
after spending package. What we
no,
also
you
need
should
to
be actually be
understand
talking
is
to the
that
whole
Joe
party
Biden's Bidenomics
who was
has
in
led
power
to the
at
loss
the
of
time because they play
$10,000
stupid
of
games, and that's why
spending
we
power
have stupid
for the
process.
average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%.
Crowder is covering the same exact thing right now. They have Nick DiPaolo
We can stop
with them right
that by
now.
turning the
I
spigot
love
on
Nick
in
DiPaolo.
Washington, sending the money back to
Should
the
ask Crowder if he
states,
wants to do a
and allowing the
simulcast.
decisions to be made at their own houses.
Hey, Steven,
I
wanna be
helped
on?
write the Tax Cuts and Jobs
Eventually
Act
one day.
in 2017. We cut taxes for a single mom like the one that raised me by 70%.
He's
for
gonna make you
dual
sign all
households
kinds of
by
documents and
60%,
waivers.
returning to the average family
I own this.
$4,000. If you don't send it to Washington, we can't spend it. That's good news for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did, during the Trump administration, you approved 4.4 trillion, 4.1 trillion, 1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the Trump administration, when we were dealing with the COVID virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end of our time in the majority. We had low unemployment, record low unemployment, 3.5%.
Look, he's got the hands down just like Trump.
I just thought that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
We have the lowest
all-time
ever.
low.
Now he needs to
But
do
our
the side tilt,
inflation
the head
is
tilt.
at 2%. Under Joe Biden, we've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation.
I catch myself
explode,
doing that too
which led
sometimes, and I'm trying to
12
explain something, and I go like this.
Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home
I do it on
buyers
purpose now.
And then I throw
even
this.
talk like Trump.
I throw this in to remind him where I'm from. Hey, and your mother too, eh?
He didn't mention you specifically, but we'll be with you in a second, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Ramaswamy, listening to all of this,
How
why should
embarrassing,
voters
though,
choose you
is it that the
over
former
more
vice
experienced
president
politicians
isn't
on
in the
this
number
stage?
1 and 2 spot,
You're
though?
basically,
He's a fucking
blank
piece of
slate
shit.
For people. You're
I
38
know.
years old.
So,
you've said
it's just
that
like-
you only voted in 2 presidential
Oh, no,
elections.
he's the most
before
popular,
He was
though.
Trump's
this
wet
moment, this
blanket.
political
Like,
race.
he was just
So first, let me
there.
just address
Oh.
a question that is on everybody's mind
You
at
mean
home
DeSantis?
tonight. Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name, and what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage? I'll tell
Ramaswamy.
you, I'm not a politician, Brett. You're right about that. I'm an entrepreneur. My parents came to this country with no money 40 years ago. I have
Okay, I'll
gone
be right
on
back,
to
y'all.
found multi-billion-dollar companies.
She just doesn't
I
like
did it
him,
while
that's
marrying
why.
my wife Apurva. raising our 2 sons, following our faith in God.
That's not
Is the
entirely
American
true.
And I am genuinely worried that that American dream will not exist for our 2 sons and their generation unless we do something about it. And I do think Brett is going to take an outsider, because for a long time we have professional politicians in the Republican Party who have been running from something. Now is our moment to start running to something, to our vision of what it means
I like it.
to be an American.
He's the only one that got an applause.
If you have a broken car, you
Yeah.
don't turn over the keys to the people who broke it again. You hand it over
DeSantis
to a new
had a
generation
little
to actually
bit,
fix
but
the
I think it's
problem.
because he was just
That's why
being
I'm in
loud.
this race and we're just getting warmed up.
Dude, he's a breath of fucking fresh air.
So why are you better positioned to turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters talking
I would.
about tonight than Mr. Ramaswamy,
Not gonna
who
lie,
is a successful
I would.
entrepreneur? Nationally right now, he's beating you in the polls.
Well, I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all
not wrong.
saying this,
She's
you
not
have
fucking
Ron
wrong.
DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all
Now
voted
I
to
would.
raise the
I'd
debt.
be like,
And
whose
Donald
money is it?
Trump
Whose
added
money?
$8
It's your money,
trillion
taxpayer.
to
Yes,
our
right.
debt.
That's right.
And our kids
My
are
money.
never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget, Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice President Pence, you were mentioned there. 54% of voters say the cost of groceries is a, quote, major problem for them.
Right.
You blamed the Biden administration spending for that increase. But as vice president, your administration spent more than any prior, $7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID. So does that mean that you're part of the spending problem?
Well, first off, thanks for the question. Thanks
See,
for letting me
what
respond.
I don't like
to
is that
reference
what
to
was
our
it spent
administration's
on?
record. I'm incredibly proud
You
of the
know,
record
they
of the
could just
Trump
throw out
Pence
numbers and say,
administration.
this is what you spent on, this is what you spent. But what did they spend it
4 short
on?
years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We unleashed
military
American
got-
energy.
well, they
and we
did get
appointed
raises, never
3
mind.
conservatives to the Supreme
no,
Court
like the
that
COVID
gave the
spending bill
American
was
people a
awful.
new beginning for the right to life.
They shouldn't have passed it through. It was like a rock and a hard
you
place
asked
type
earlier,
situation. Because if
who's
you wouldn't
the
have done
most
anything
best
either,
prepared
it wouldn't,
for this job.
you know.
And I must say, with all due respect to all of my friends on the stage, and even to one that's probably
It was an absolute rock and a hard place, because if you didn't vote for it, you were the bad guy, and if you voted
Like
for
they
it, now
did
you're the
to-
bad guy.
Yeah. Like they said, Thomas Massey was a bad guy for like not voting for it.
And he was right not to vote for it. And I think a lot of people said this is going to be a bad thing because we're just printing money. And people who said that were absolutely right. But and we all knew this was going to happen. Not for nothing. How many times did we say that when you do the quote unquote right thing, eventually they'll turn it around and make you the bad guy? It's everything since COVID. Remember when first COVID happened, they were talking about how, Donald Trump is just being xenophobic. You still go to the Chinese Day parade. He's being this, he's being that. And then all of a sudden it turned around.
Like, come to Chinatown.
Yeah. And then they turned around and was just like, Trump doesn't care. It's like, yo, you guys, he said something first and you guys were calling him all the different kinds of names. And then now you turned it around and was just like, no, Trump never closed it down because y'all motherfuckers didn't want it to close down.
Yeah.
You were named earlier. I'm going to get Vivek first.
We'll get to both of
Yeah, this isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock
In
American
one
energy.
ear, I'm
Drill,
listening to the
frack,
Tucker
burn coal, embrace
interview,
nuclear.
and in the other ear, I've got you guys in it. So if I hear some good shit,
Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize
Yeah,
the U.S. dollar.
if you hear something good, then pause it and just rewind it and we'll put it up.
U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative
Well,
state.
it's on a
that is
Twitter
the source
space
of
right
those
now.
Toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a U.S. president can do with focus, and I'll deliver on
Well,
it.
let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you, if I can. I'll go slower this time.
I sometimes struggle with the reading
Look,
comprehension.
I was a House conservative leader before it was cool. I actually pushed the
cares?
Deficit
He's
Reduction
still a
Act. That was
dick.
the last time we actually reduced the national debt in the United States when I was the leader of House conservatives. I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe
Vic wants to call him a
Biden
piece of
has weakened
shit.
this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job
And you
training.
stole my tie,
We don't
bitch.
need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience. We need to bring
Dude, you
The
said
crowd,
America's not your concern.
the crowd loves Vivek.
Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
You are up, Governor DeSantis.
So here's the thing. Why are we in this mess?
Here's the
Part
deal.
of it, and a major reason is because how this federal
You are
government
not the
handled
father.
COVID-19 by locking down this economy. It was a mistake. It should have never happened. And in Florida, we led the country out of lockdown. We kept our state free and open. And I can tell you this, as your president,
Actually,
I will
Christy
never
Nome
let
did,
the
and you all
deep state
copied Christy Nome.
bureaucrats lock you down. You don't take somebody like Fauci and
Which
coddle
was a good
him.
thing to do,
You
though.
bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired.
He didn't. He fucking didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't just.
I applaud DeSantis for saying that.
Well, he's not fucking Trump.
I know.
Their slogans out of the way. We can actually have a real discussion now. The reality and the fact.
No,
of
it's
it
okay.
is,
We'll
when you're-
give him a
that-
chance.
Not
We'll
really,
give him a
Mike,
chance.
actually. We're just going to have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a bunch of people, professional politicians, super PAC puppets, following slogans handed over to them by their 400-page super PACs
I found it.
last week. The real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth? Do you want incremental reform, which is what you're hearing about, or do you want revolution?
Okay.
And I stand on the side of the American revolution.
We want a revolution.
Take control back here.
We need everyone to have a moment on the economy. I think
A
that's
Vivekolution, man.
Here she goes. She getting it. She's starting to feel it.
I'm eating I'm eating my nuts so fast right now.
She needs a towel.
Great, thank you, Martha. And of course, I'm from a town of 300 people. It's a big deal to make it on this stage with all these folks.
Who the fuck is this dude?
He's just happy to be there.
Dude, look, Steve Carell underneath a face
They were
mask.
all wishing me well, and I think I took them a little too
Look like
literally
somebody
when they
painted
said,
a
"Go to
Michael
Milwaukee
Myers
and
mask."
break a leg."
Yeah.
So- But I do want to say,
He actually,
on
like,
this,
tore
we're missing
his
something. We can't just talk about the Biden economy because the
ACL or
economy,
something right
energy,
before, like,
and
a few
national
hours
security are all
before.
tied together. We, of course, we're paying
It's
too
Gavin
much for
Newsom's
energy
grandpa.
in our state, right, in our country
Fucking
right
eyebrows.
now. But part of the reason
I
why
know.
is because the
He's
Biden
the
policy.
He's the governor of South Dakota.
Right now, the $1.2 trillion of Green New Deal spending buried in the Inflation Creation Act is something that is just subsidizing China. If we're going to stop buying oil from the Middle East and start buying batteries from China, we're just trading OPEC for Sinopec. And then belatedly, the Biden administration says, no, we're going to put sanctions on Russian oil. Well, we put sanctions on Russian oil, well, then it's 20% off. Who's buying it? China. So if you buy a battery in this country, you buy a solar panel, it's being produced in a plant in China powered by coal, or it's being powered by oil and gas at 20% off. And every farmer in this country would like to buy diesel at 20% off, just like they're buying it in China.
Governor Hutchinson, quickly.
He's not bad. I'll say that.
Yeah, he
So
wasn't.
far.
Delighted to be here tonight. And let me just tell you that I'm a pro-life governor from a
Isa
conservative
Hutchinson.
state that have a conservative record in which I lowered taxes in Arkansas as governor.
I forgot what he did, but I don't like this
created
dude.
a $2 billion surplus that
Governor
I
of
passed
Arkansas?
over to my
Yeah, I
successor.
forget what he did.
And
did he
I
lose
made
to
sure
Sarah?
that we shrunk the size of government.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he mentioned Trump.
Oh.
Everyone
What the
drink.
hell? The hell happened?
What'd you
Sure,
do?
sure. And I made sure that we shrunk the size of government.
What happened?
Oh, it wasn't you, maybe.
Had success in business. But let me tell you, I've been a federal prosecutor.
It's the
I've
censorship.
served our country in terms of being head of the DEA, in Homeland Security, in times of crisis. And while I think that that's
Okay.
experience,
Absolutely
that is
no, then.
important for the future of
It's
our
an absolute
country
low for me,
to
then.
be the president of the United States.
If you served
that
on
can
any
lead
of those
with
fucking
positive
3-letter
solutions and be held
mafias,
accountable.
absolute no.
Thank you.
Sorry.
We have a lot of topics to get to, and I promise we're going to get to everyone if we play within the rules. Okay.
Oh,
next
shut
topic.
up.
More than 1,000 people are
Just
still
let the people hear what they want to
We
hear.
just don't
in
like
Maui.
him. Him and
After the
Brian
deadliest
Kilmeade.
US
Brian
wildfire in
Kilmeade
more than
can
a century.
suck my
Hawaii's
big
governor
toe.
Suck
and
those
White
nuts.
House officials said that
Dude,
climate
he's such an ass.
What the
change
fuck? Oh,
He's not likable.
amplified the cost of human error.
And a tropical storm hit California for the first time in 84 years. The ocean hit 101 degrees off the coast of Florida. And in the last month, the heat wave in the Southwest broke records nearly 50 years old.
So Alexander Diaz from Young America's Foundation has a question for you all.
What?
Polls consistently show that young people's #1 issue is climate change. How will you, as both President of the United
Educate
States
your
and
son.
leader of the
That's
Republican
what'll
Party,
happen.
calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
So we want to
You should
start
be in
on this
school.
with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you do.
Look, we're not school children. Let's have the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take it to start.
I'm not going to listen to this climate change crap. I'm going to see what they're saying over here.
That's the way to do. So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said no.
No comment?
What the
Okay. Well, at least he's attacking Biden right now.
Comment? Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present. You've got to be helping people who are doing this. And here's the deal.
Let's just answer the question.
So is that a yes? Or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No,
because
no,
the
I
climate
didn't
change
raise-
agenda
I
is
didn't
a focus.
What the fuck are they fighting about?
Republicans.
Yes!
I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda
There you go.
And the reality is,
Are people booing him?
the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies
There
than
you
they
go.
are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
is down by
Hold on, hold
98% in the last century.
Listen. Wait, hold on.
I've had enough. I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds
Not of
like
dinner.
Of my mother, my wife's meatloaf.
And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama.
Sharp.
What the fuck happened? Shit.
Start all over. Oh, okay.
They hit this.
First of all, we do care
He just got a
about
new fan.
clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all, yes, is climate change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to go and really
Wow.
change the environment,
That's
then
got to
you
be
need
the
to start
quote of
telling
the night.
China and
And
India
you
that
helped
they have to lower
Obama
their
get elected.
emissions. That's where our problem is. And these green subsidies that Biden has put in,
Tucker just asked Trump,
all he's
did
done is help
does he
China,
think Epstein
because
killed
he doesn't
himself
understand
sincerely?
all these electric vehicles that he's done, what that does. Half of the batteries for electric vehicles are made in
Trump
China.
says, "I don't know."
And so that's not helping the environment. You're putting money in China's pocket, and Biden did that.
not
So
wrong.
first of all, I think we need to
No,
acknowledge
that's
the
exactly
truth,
what that
which
other
is
dude just
these
said.
subsidies are not
The
working.
governor from
we
South
also need to
Dakota.
take on the international world and say, okay, India and China, you've got to stop polluting, and that's when we'll start
Yeah,
to
you
deal
had
with
yeah,
the
you
economy.
had your chance when you were working at the UN as a member
Are you
state.
bought and paid for?
I'm sorry.
Are you bought and paid for?
Absolutely not. I mean, here's what the American people deserve is a debate about the issues that affect
Now
their
they're
lives.
attacking Barr
Going back and forth
because he
and being
didn't do
childish
the
is not helpful
investigation
to the
on
American
Epstein.
people to decide on the next leader of our country. Number one. Wait a
Can you
second.
pause that very
Number
quick?
two, as a kid,
I want to share something I just learned from a TikTok. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently Jeffrey Epstein was was a student of Barr's father when he was a professor. No, not true.
No. So what happened?
Damn
So
TikToks.
they're, yeah, I know. The thing is, so Epstein became a teacher at a school that apparently, like, William Barr's dad was the dean of.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
connection.
the whole. That's it. I don't know. Like,
Hmm.
there's really not much you can actually find on it, except for that. But then the biggest thing is not that it was William Barr's dad who was the dean. It was that that Epstein started tutoring a girl whose dad worked for Bear Stearns, and then all of a sudden he like got a job with that dude, and that's why he left teaching and started this whole thing, and then got hooked up with Lex Wexner.
Grew up in a
Les
single-parent
Wexner, not
household,
Lex
mired in
Wexner.
poverty. I wondered, was the
Lex
American
Luthor?
dream real for kids
Yeah.
who were devastated by poverty, devastated by the challenges of life? I came to the conclusion that America can do for anyone what she's done for me if we focus on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting America. If we want the environment to be better, and we all do, the best thing to do is to bring our jobs home from China. If we create 10 million new jobs in my Made in America plan, we will have a better economy and a better environment. Let me tell you why I say that, Brett. America,
Do it quickly.
America has cut. I'm a Southern boy, I talk slow. So America has cut our carbon footprint in half in the last 25 years. The places
Very
where
true.
they are continuing to increase, Africa, 950 million people. India, over 1 billion. China, over 1 billion. Why would we put ourselves at a disadvantage, devastating our own economy? Let's bring our jobs home.
We have a lot of different topics to get to.
Yeah, we do. We thank you all. Thank
Agreed.
you, Senator Scott. So coming up next, the candidates will weigh in on what could be a defining issue in the 2024 campaign. The first Republican debate continues moments away.
I want to go back to that. I want to go back to
They are
that.
big
People were
mad that Ramaswamy's in there.
They are.
Big
Of actual climate.
He's definitely making it entertaining.
Haley, are you bought and paid for? Hold on.
in the last century.
Listen. Wait, hold on.
I've had enough. I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up.
I didn't hear that.
That's what he said.
And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur.
I'm sorry, but he did become president, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
Just like you did to Obama.
Change.
And you'll help elect me just
Yes.
like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
The
bear
same
hug, brother.
type of amateur.
Hey, what was the whole hand thing right before they start arguing right there?
The fact that I think this is
They
exactly
said someone
why
had their
Margaret
hand up
Thatcher
or
said,
something.
if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Those are all ladies cheering.
I love a girl boss.
Clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all, yes, is climate change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to go and really change the environment, then we need to start telling China and India that they have to lower their emissions.
Or like Aaron
The
Brockovich said,
weird thing, like,
it's called booze.
We're all on the same page.
done is
Like
help
to say,
China,
hey, we're on the
because he
same.
doesn't understand all these electric
Whatever.
vehicles that he's done.
No, go ahead. I lowered it so that way we can hear you.
Of the batteries for electric
No,
vehicles
no,
in
it's just
China.
I didn't fully think out my thought.
Listen, do we ever? Does any of us
No.
ever think out a full thought and then go like, yeah, no, we just throw it out
I
there?
didn't want to sound like an idiot.
So what? Okay, so let's see.
Thank you. We have a lot of topics to get to, and I promise we're going to
Well,
get to
okay,
everyone
all right, ready?
if we play
Here's
within
my
the
thought.
rules.
All right.
Okay, next topic.
So
More than 1,000
they're all
people
saying
are
the
still
same thing
undocumented.
and fighting over each other. No, I said it better. No, I said it better. What's this guy doing here?
Yeah, they did.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, but I like it. To tell you the truth, I like
I
the way
liked
it's
it too.
going.
A tropical storm hit California for the first time in 84 years. The ocean hit 101 degrees off the coast of
Did
Florida.
they come back from break yet?
Last month, the heat
I don't
wave in
know.
the Southwest broke records.
I was trying to get to the place where the hand raising
Alexander
thing.
Diaz from
Oh.
Young America's Foundation has a question for you all.
Yeah, see, where's that hand? It was right before they argued.
First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the
And I'm trying to stay a little behind so that way it's not buffering as much anymore.
Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present. You've got to be helping people who are doing this. And here's the deal.
Let's just answer the question.
So is that a yes? Or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No,
because
no,
the
I
climate
didn't
change agenda is
raise a hand.
hoax. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
Excuse me, sir. I bought my tie.
The reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is, more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of
He's
actual
not wrong.
climate change.
Governor, are you bought and paid for?
No, he's not. Here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. They're all saying the same thing.
And listen. Tell Brett Baer could suck an apple. I'm sick and tired of that nonsense. Of are you bought and paid for? Are you bought and paid for? Excuse me, are you bought and paid? He said it. If somebody wants to retort it, let him retort it. You sound like you're sitting there like the pokey stick. Hey, you gonna do something? Hey, are you gonna do something?
It's like a kid, like, no.
It's
puffing
like
and puffing. Like, calm down. I'll get you a donut for less.
it's like when you're like when two kids are fighting each other and then you got the other kids like, oh, ooh, gee, what he said, oh, oh, yo, son, you gonna let him get away with that shit? Yo, son, you gonna let him get away with that shit? Like, come on, Brett, shut the fuck up. You're a grown ass man. I mean, you look pasty white, but you're still a grown ass man. Like, man, it's so. Are you bought and paid for? Are you bought?
I know, I can't.
Been a losing issue for Republicans since the Dobbs decision. In 6 state referendums, all have upheld
Martha
abortion
McCallum.
rights in this country. And even in red states, there are more swing state referendums that are coming up
They
as we
heard
head
you,
into
see?
the elections as well on this. So, Governor Haley, what do you say to your party and to your state, which today confirmed a 6-week abortion law as well, especially the impact on women suburban voters across this country?
Thank you, Martha. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband was adopted and I had trouble having both of my children, so I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, we need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man. Now it's been put in the hands of the people. That's great. When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus. Can't we all agree that we should ban late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion? Let's treat this like a respectful issue that it is and humanize the situation and stop demonizing the situation.
Brett, Governor, hold on. You're not mentioned, Vice President Pence. Governor DeSantis, you signed a 6-week abortion
Pence
ban
is not there. I swear,
one of
I
the
bet you
biggest
only Pence is only going to get
financial
maybe, he's only going to talk maybe 1 or 2 more times.
He's got a 0.2%.
Say to him and others who say politically, that is a tough thing
Ever
to sell
since that
nationally.
fly landed on his
Well, I
head,
would say
everyone knew he's full of
the
shit.
biggest election landslide victory.
Not only that, like he's going after Trump now. Like,
Florida in 2022. That's
like
what I did.
why? He made you the VP.
But second of all,
Just shut the fuck up. Say thank you.
It wasn't a good strategy. Look what happens. What's happening to DeSantis right now
to sign
for doing that.
bill. One of the most impactful moments of my life was when I heard the heartbeat of my oldest daughter in my wife's womb, and then saw the sonograms of all 3 of my kids. What the Democrats are trying to do on this issue is wrong, to allow abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. I know a lady in Florida named Penny. She survived multiple
I knew this bitch named
abortion
Becky.
attempts. She was left discarded in a pan. Fortunately, her
With the hair?
grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital. We're better than what the Democrats are selling. We are not going to allow abortion all the way up till birth, and we will hold them accountable for their extremism.
But just to be clear, Governor, would you sign a 6-week ban federally?
I'm going to stand on the side of life. Look, I understand Wisconsin is going to do it different than Texas. I understand Iowa and New Hampshire are going to do different. But I will support the cause of life as governor and as president.
Vice President Pence, you're shaking your head.
We must have a national.
Hold on, Senator. Vice President Pence, you're shaking your head.
Well, look, I'm not new to this cause. After I gave my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I opened up the book and I read, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And see, I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life." And I knew from that moment on, the cause of life had to be my cause. And I've been a champion for life in the Congress, a champion for life as governor and as vice president. And to be honest with you, Nikki, you're my friend, but consensus is the opposite of leadership. When the Supreme Court returned this question to the American people, they didn't just send it to the states only. It's not a states only issue, it's a moral issue. And I promise you, as President of the United States, the American people will have a champion for life in the Oval Office. Can't we have a minimum standard in every state in the nation that says when a baby is capable of feeling pain, an abortion cannot be allowed? A 15-week ban is an idea whose time has come. It's supported by 70% of the American people, but it's going to take unapologetic leadership that stands on principle and expresses compassion for women in crisis pregnancies. I'll do that as President of the United States.
He called my name, so I want to respond to that. 30 seconds. So first of all, I will say it is in the hands of the people, and that's where it should be. But when you're talking about a federal ban, be honest with the American people. We haven't had 45 pro-life senators in over 100 years. So no Republican president can ban abortions any more than a Democrat president could ban all those state laws. Don't make women feel like they have to decide on this issue when you know we don't have 60 Senate votes in the House.
70% of the American people support legislation
but
to ban
70%
abortion
of the
after a
Senate
baby is
does
capable
not.
of experiencing pain. It's just going to take leadership.
Hold on.
70% of the Senate does not. You have to be honest with the American people.
We have to have a 15-week limit.
Let's get Governor Bergman for one minute here. But the Supreme
Who's
Court
the other
did
guy that they
overturn
haven't talked
Roe v.
to?
Wade.
Oh.
And the result of that decision
Asia
went
Hutchinson.
back
Governor.
to the states. So that's
No,
where
they
it
talked
is
to
right
him
now. So as
once.
I understand it, you are not in favor of a federal ban. What do you say about the states? There's about 5 of them, including New Jersey.
Tell you,
Just trying not
it's
to
Steve
laugh.
Carell.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you saw that also. I'm glad you saw
If you
that.
were president, would you be able to abide that?
Well, first of all, I'm a pro-life governor of a very pro-life state. And this issue is, of course, very important. But I am on the record, and I stand behind that we should not have a federal abortion ban. We should not. And the reason why we shouldn't is very simple. It's the 10th Amendment in the Constitution. In the Constitution, which the states created the federal government, not the other way around, it says that there were certain duties allowed to the federal government delegated to them by the states. The rest are left to the states, comma, or importantly, or to the people. We need to get back to freedom and liberty for the people in this country. And we can't have Republicans who fight for 50 years for this great cause and to return it back to the states.
Yep.
And then
As much
the
as I'm
next
against
day they
abortion,
turn around and go, no, the
I'd
feds
rather
should
have
do that because the
that
feds
freedom
are
at
stepping
least
into
to move
people's
somewhere
lives.
else.
They're stepping into people's businesses. Over and over, if we say that the Fed should be in on this one, where do we stop? I say that we follow the Constitution, and this is returned to the states. This is where it should be.
Governor Bergman, you said
I heard him do an interview a few days ago on the Patriot Network on Sirius XM, and I heard him, and he had just been able to get on the stage. And I heard what he had to say, and I was like, I want to hear more. So, hon, wasn't Larry Elder supposed to be on the stage?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I saw something about that.
So there is authority, and that's why President Biden is pushing for a Democrat proposal, which is, in essence, abortion on demand through the term. So they have their extreme position at a national level. It's most likely going to be addressed in the states, but it's certainly fine for it to be addressed at the national level as well. Arkansas has the record of being the most pro-life state in the nation. I signed 30 pro-life pieces of legislation while I was governor. And every state can determine a different outcome here. And it is the most important issue for women and for the unborn child and for our country that we get this right. It's going to be a continued debate. Let's talk about it in terms of compassion, in terms of protecting the life, and also understanding how we have to enhance adoption services, how we have to enhance maternal care. Those things we've done in Arkansas and are important for
CPS and DHS have to be revamped completely if we're going to keep them. Child Protective Services has to be revamped, and adoption and all this shit has to be revamped. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and also teaching kids about personal responsibility, and that if you do the deed and something happens,
it is unethical. It is wrong.
Yeah.
We must have a president.
by the way, so yeah, Larry Elder isn't going to be on the stage, obviously, but he has a interview with Peter Schiff on his podcast right after the Republican debate. And I just gave you guys the link in the chat, and I'll put it in the comment section.
Creator gave us inalienable rights that include life. That is a list. That is an issue we must solve. We can't leave it to Illinois. We can't leave it to Minnesota. We can't leave it to Illinois. We must solve that issue with a 15-week
Illinois, Minnesota, Illinois.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of any other state there, pal.
It's for someone to ask Biden and Kamala Harris, are they for 38 weeks? Are they for 39 weeks? Are they for 40 weeks? Because that's what the media needs to be asking.
All right, another issue is America and the crime crisis, the homelessness crisis. American cities are in decline. People are moving out as homelessness, drugs, crime move in. There are problems accelerated. They did accelerate during the pandemic and are still rising, actually.
Murders in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, all up 30% between 2019 and 2022. Homelessness is up 11%, the largest jump in recorded history. Vice President Pence, a lot of this began in the COVID era. How much of what we're seeing happening around this country is a result of those COVID lockdowns, and is your administration in part to blame for how we got here?
Well, I think
no, it's the governors.
It's
the mayors.
Yeah.
For the last 5 years. And we ought to be funding law enforcement, particularly in our major cities, at unprecedented levels.
But that's not
I mean,
the
it's
federal
extraordinary
law's
to think about the violence
job.
that's claiming innocent lives literally every
Stop
week in every
asking them
major
questions
city
that's
in this
not
country.
federal
And yet
government's
Democrats
job.
and liberal prosecutors in major metropolitan areas continue to work out their fanciful agendas, to do bail reform and go easy. What we need is strong commitment to law enforcement. We need leadership in Washington, D.C. that'll marshal the resources of the states, marshal the resources of the American people. But let me also say it's about opportunity.
You need
a lot of people
to
don't
shut
know that
the fuck
those Trump-Pence tax cuts that we got signed into law go away at the end of 2025 if we don't have a Republican president and a Republican House and a Republican Senate.
Shut up,
when I'm
Mike.
president of the United States, we're actually going to cut taxes further. We're going to extend those tax cuts, and we're going to close the Federal Department of Education, block grant all that funding back to the states. With a growing economy and educational choice and law enforcement, we will bring our cities back.
Governor Christie,
I agree with that.
another issue. This weekend
Last part.
here in Milwaukee, reports say there were 30 shootings, and a number of them including kids. Add that to the big increase in school shootings around the country. Democrats blame this crisis on easy access to guns. They also blame Republicans for blocking gun control legislation. What would President Christie do?
You know, I'm proud of the fact, Brett, that I'm the only person, along with Governor Hutchinson, up on this stage who's actually
I would
in
have
the
a
United
nice
States
big
Attorney's Office. I ran the
hoagie.
5th largest office in America in a state where there is significant urban crime.
Me and Asia went to Jersey
problem is
Mike's
not
and
gonna
got
be
a sub one day, and
solved by
you
more
know,
money.
shared it
problem is
end to
that
end.
these
Like you remember Lady in the Tramp? Yeah, me and Asia, we went Lady in the Tramp style on a hoagie.
President Christie would do
On a
is
meatball
appoint an attorney
sub.
general who would instruct each of the 93 U.S. attorneys that they are to take over the prosecution of violent crime in every one of those cities that are failing to do so. We have plenty of room in the federal prisons to lock up these violent criminals and clean up what's going on all across this country in these individual cities. Secondly, what we need to make sure that each and every one of these criminals understand is that the laws apply to everybody. And when Hunter Biden fills out a fake application, a false application for a gun permit, and then is facing a 10-year
Shut the fuck up.
mandatory
Shouldn't have to fill out an
minimum, which was
application for a gun
mandated
permit
by
anyway.
legislation sponsored by his father.
Jersey has the worst gun
And
laws.
Then you have a Justice Department that
Then you have
walks
Union,
away from those
Elizabeth,
charges.
that whole
We're
fucking
telling
stretch of people
that the
just
law doesn't
offing
apply
each
to
other.
everybody.
Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
First
like,
administration,
in
he
New
would go to
Jersey,
jail
isn't it
for
like
10
you
years.
can it's like you can't travel with a firearm in your vehicle with
So the reality
in
is we have a
one
crime rate in this
area
country and we know how
and
to fix it.
the
The
bullets
question is,
in
do we
another.
actually have the
No.
spine to do
So
it?
what-
If you're not going
cops in
to
the
the
streets,
firing
range.
range.
So you can only go.
And you have to
without
go
looking over
there
their
and
shoulder
back. You can't
for
stop
getting
for a
sued.
coffee
And we
or
also have
anything
a
like
mental
that. You got to
health
go there
epidemic
and
in this
back.
country.
Yep.
Just over the same period that we have closed mental health institutions, we have seen a spike in violent crime. Do we have the spine to bring them back? I think we should. As president, I will. But it's not just drugging up people in those psychiatric institutions with Zoloft and Seroquel. It's a deeper issue. I think faith-based approaches can play a role here too. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. And I say this as a member of my generation. The problem in our country right now, the reason we have that mental
Having
health
anxiety.
epidemic is that people are so hungry for purpose and meaning at a time when family, faith, patriotism, hard work have all disappeared. What we really need is a tonal reset from the top, saying that this is what it means to be an American. Yes, we will stand for the rule of law. Yes, we will close the southern border where criminals are coming in every day. And yes, we will back law enforcement because we remember who we really are. And that's also how we address that mental health epidemic in the next generation that is directly leading to violent crime across this country.
Governor DeSantis, really quickly. Governor DeSantis.
Don't say a fucking word for the American people, Mike. Shut your mouth. Shut your face.
We're not looking for a new
Ram
national
Swami,
identity.
brought to you
American
by
people are the
Banquet
most
Beer.
faith-filled, freedom-loving, idealistic.
You ever
Oh
were
my
vice
God,
president?
no. He's so out of touch. He is so out of touch, Mike Pence.
Some others like you may have on the stage, it's Morning in America speech. It is not Morning in America. We live in a dark moment, and we have to confront the fact that we're in an internal, sort of cold cultural civil war.
You are
and we have to
equating the
recognize
American
that
people with the failed
win.
government in Washington, D.C. We just need government as good as our people again.
So I
Governor
can,
DeSantis,
so let me just
Governor
finish addressing-
So, bitch, I know you ain't talking.
Motherfucker.
Crime has been on the rise in Florida, Governor DeSantis. How do you stop crime?
Well, actually, crime's at a 50-year low
Not
in
in-
Florida.
not in Miami.
We're happy with that. Well, the statewide, it's a 50-year low. And so here's the thing.
Shut his
These
motherfucker.
hollowed out cities, this is a symptom of America's decline. And one of the biggest reasons is because you have George Soros funding these radical left-wing district attorneys. They get into office and they say they're not going to prosecute crimes they disagree with. The inmates start running the asylum. There's one guy
cares who backs
in this
who?
entire country.
Have
that's
the
ever
people
No, that
vote.
is important. No, it's important.
When we had
How?
two of
No,
these
that
district
is
attorneys in
important.
Florida
What,
elected with Soros
Listen.
funding who said they wouldn't do their job, I removed them from their posts. They are gone.
Because, all right, Letitia James in New York, right?
Yeah.
She was backed by a George Soros PAC. The reason why George Soros was kicked out of Hungary is because he does little shit like that, backs all these little people, and then overthrows the government. and stuff. That's
like,
why he was kicked out. So Citizens United, okay, that's a PAC that or an organization that George Soros funnels money to. Act Blue is another one. And all it is these social justice like warrior types. That's why you get like the Letitia James. You get the other chick that was out in freaking Chicago that did the whole Juicy Smollett bullshit.
Fox,
you know, so,
Kim Fox.
Yeah, Kimberly Fox. Yeah, and you have these people that because it's so much easier to give out $100,000 than millions and millions of dollars to get someone big elected when you can have your little ant people get things done by prosecuting different things or not prosecuting things.
Okay.
And that's what it gets done. That's why you got what's going on in New York with Trump and all this other stuff. You see all those people, they're all swamp rats. It's disgusting. Gross.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Expanded in Arkansas as well. Whenever you look at the underlying challenge of America,
I need that sound on my board.
likes to see an America with smash and grab in our inner cities. As
Well,
president of the
because the
United
biggest
States,
example of it
that
is
will
when you
stop.
saw everything that was
It
going on with
starts
like
at the top
BLM and Antifa and stuff, and these kids weren't getting prosecuted. And you find out like some of them are lawyers and different things like that. You saw one of the Antifa people was even freaking Bill de Blasio's like stepdaughter or his
Yeah.
daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like shit like that. So they have these very like liberal or like they have these Marxist like agendas, and they find people who have the same ideology. That's why when you talk about Barack Obama and his connection to Bill Ayers and like Bill Ayers whole philosophy and stuff like that. So if people want to overthrow some type of government or make sure that they at the end they'll be the ones that have the most money, then yeah, you're going to send out these little people they can squash any second and not pay millions and millions of dollars to people when you can win a local little race for like tens of thousands of dollars because no one's paying attention, right?
Yeah.
You're just talking
Yeah.
about local elections. No one was paying attention at the time. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, brilliant. Obviously, brilliant strategy.
Bold strategy, Cotton. See if this works.
Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, like I said, I don't understand the whole funding thing, and I guess, I guess it's like to throw money at everything, but I guess it puts you out front on all this stuff and it gets you elected. But I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't get how
it's
all
like
this.
with like the whole lobbying and like, hey, if I'll grease your palms if you scratch my back, like, or other things, you know.
I mean, she did become vice president somehow. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. You're right about the local DAs and all that shit. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, and that's what we mean when we talk about get out and vote for these local people. Find out what they're about. Get to the mayor. Like it starts with the mayor. Like if you have a mayor you don't like, get that fucking mayor out because he's going to keep going. That mayor is going to keep building his name and building his or her name and building and just keep going higher and higher and higher.
And then they become president.
Yeah. Or the district attorneys. They all make their money. They all make their bones on who they convict and shit like that. So if what? Oof. That lady's face was weird. So like.
Oh, that was.
Ronna McDaniel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. It's so people just have to remember vote local. Find out what your local people are about, and if you don't like it, make sure you vote them out because they're going to keep going higher and higher and higher. And if a senator or somebody you don't like is doing something you're wrong, campaign against them, campaign to make sure they do not get reelected. It doesn't matter what side they're on either. If they're Republican or they're Democrat, if you don't like their policies, get them the fuck out before they keep going higher. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like I said, we keep preaching all this stuff and saying these things, and
that's a badass commercial for Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I got distracted. But I heard everything you said.
I want. By the way, I had a 4 Patriots a little battery charger. Not the greatest battery charger. Sorry, 4 Patriots.
Oh,
Not
really?
Yeah, not the greatest battery charger. It worked, but it didn't work. I don't know. I bought it I got it at the thrift store, but it was brand new. So I was like, oh, 4 Patriots. I'll try it, and yeah, not too great.
Did it come off the truck?
I got a couple uncles. What can I say?
The back of it said "Made in China."
How you doing? my favorite joke. My favorite joke that I say right now is when people talk about tattoos. I said I'm gonna get one right under my belly button that says "Made in America" with Japanese parts.
Oh my god! It's funny because it's small.
I should be offended, but I'm not.
Jack put something in his mouth like the second I said that too. I'm sorry.
Listen,
He's joking.
I choked. Yeah.
That's my goal. I try to do that to everybody I can. Every time Biz or you are trying to drink or eat something, I try to say something funny.
There's been almost times I've spat on my laptop.
But listen, I mean, at least it's interesting. I mean, even with Trump not there, Vivek is throwing a fucking haymaker at all of them. Vivek is throwing a haymaker.
Nice.
Nikki Haley is kind of knocking out of the park too. You know, she's coming in there guns a blazing. I mean, they're doing a great job, and they're showing how stupid you sound when you want to just keep doing the political kind of speeches. Like, you know,
like Pence. He sounds like he has no idea what is going on outside of the bubble, like what people are talking about culturally. And that's why things are changing. What Ramaswamy was talking about, like, we need to like there are kids out there saying that the American flag means that you're a white supremacist.
Yeah. Go say that in another fucking country. Try that in another country. Go tell another country that, you know, oh, your flag is racist. They'll fucking throw you in jail. They throw you in jail in different countries for spitting on the floor.
All signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
There we go. Oh, fucking
now.
Ron looked. Now Ron did one of these.
Just hold on.
Yeah, Vivek still got his hand up.
You were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand.
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And
Not
I know
this.
you didn't.
Doing this.
Okay.
What right?
Look, here's the bottom
Pork
line.
roll.
Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay? Now.
No.
And
Boo.
now, whether or not you believe
Someone's got to
that the
stop
criminal charges
watching
are
over the
right or
condiments.
wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States. And
Ooh, mixed bag.
you know, this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
They
you raised
hate
your hand
him.
supporting.
I'd like to get in and respond.
It's
Let's just
like
speak the
he's
truth.
there and then
President Trump, I believe,
and
was
then
the
that.
best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest
There
to
you go.
God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. And if people at home want to see a bunch of people blindly bashing Donald Trump without an iota of vision for this country, they could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm
Looks
not
like
running
the
for
panel's
president
going
of
to turn around
MSNBC.
and tell
I
the
am running
audience
for
something right
president of
now.
the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
30 seconds, Governor DeSantis.
Look, let me tell you
No, I'm sorry. 30 seconds, Governor
You
Christie.
make me laugh because You sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer. Right
Ooh, Chris. Ooh.
Now they're gonna do it.
An answer.
Go ahead, Governor
Because I just saw it on Crowder that the panel turns around and tells the audience something. Yep, there you go.
They're gonna tell them to stop to let them.
This, the less time they can talk about issues.
Fuck you, Brett Bear.
Fuck you guys, yeah. Let the people cheer, boo, whatever we want.
You
guys are
here talking about how you want.
They're applying for the job. We are the employer.
That it can't be selective. In your book, you had much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not true.
No, it is very true.
That is not true.
It's very true. I read it, and I know.
There's a difference between bad behavior and illegal behavior, Chris. And you as a prosecutor should know better.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot better.
There's a difference between bad behavior. And
I know a lot better than you do. You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance.
What are you, his
the interests
fucking
of this
mother?
government,
I know
except to
better
put
than you
yourself
do.
forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing. We've stood up for law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution. He said,
get your MSNBC contributor.
he said,
these are politicized indictments, and we have to call out the truth.
Martha, it's important to say that the president said, Donald Trump said, it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend. I will always stand
Was
up
that
for
a
our
fuck you from the
Constitution,
audience?
regardless of
I
the
think
political
so.
pressure.
We have another
Good.
question for you. We're going to get everyone in on this issue, but I have another question. Hold on, you will. All right, so President Trump's former vice president is on this stage tonight. He has faced hecklers on the campaign trail over his actions on January the 6th. On that day, the vice president moved forward with the certification of the election. So do you believe that Mike Pence did the right thing, Senator Scott? Do you believe he did the right thing?
Absolutely. He did the right thing. Number one. Number two, we should be asking ourselves a bigger question about the weaponization
You lost me, Tim
of the
Scott.
Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first
He
thing I'll do
he did the
is
right
fire
thing.
Merrick Garland.
That was his job.
Secondly,
There's
I'll do
nothing he can really do about
fire
it.
Christopher Wray, because we need Lady Justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence in our justice system. 17% of Republicans have confidence in our Department of Justice. Here's why. We keep seeing not only the weaponization of the Department of Justice against political opponents, but also against parents who show up at school board meetings. They're called, under this DOJ, they're called domestic terrorists.
That's very true.
Shut down the FBI.
Let me finish my comments.
Yes.
Not only that, in addition to that, we see the SWAT team show up at pro-life activist homes with guns drawn because this DOJ uses their power, uses their authority, not just against political opponents, but against conservatives and conservative causes. It is time for a change in America, and I will bring that change to the greatest nation on God's green earth.
Hope and change, hope and change.
Don't do that, Tim.
So here's what we need to do. We need to end the weaponization of these federal agents.
Right, but
I will do that.
That's not the question.
I know, but here's the thing. This election is not about January 6th of 2021. It's about January 20th of 2025, when the next president is going to take office. I know what the Democrats would like to do. They want to talk about all these other issues, but we've got to focus on your future. We've got to focus on reversing the decline of our country. I learned in the military, I was assigned with U.S. Navy SEALs in Iraq, that you focus on the mission above all
His
else.
fucking tan is killing me. His tan is just so.
We've got to look forward.
It's perfect.
And we've got to make
Actually,
sure
it is
that
perfect.
we're bringing
I
a
like
message
it.
that can
It's
win
not.
in the
It's not too orange. It's not too light. It looks like he, you know, he may have been a little green before he came on the stage because he's nervous, but it gives him a little color. It's actually not a bad tan.
That I kept my oath to the Constitution that day.
There's no more important duty. So answer the question.
Sandoval would probably be like,
this before.
no, that's not a fan.
Mike did his duty. I got no beef with him. But here's the thing: is this what we're going to be focusing on going forward? The rehashing
Well,
of this.
DeSantis definitely jumping a few notches up in my book.
Yeah.
And they will win if we let them get away with it. I'm not
Thank you. Somebody fucking said it. Like, why are we still rehashing the same bullshit we've been rehashing? Are you gonna not gonna do this if you do? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up already. Like, raise your hand if you want to pee. Hi-yo. Like, come on. Not fucking.
You did not raise your hand.
I did not raise my hand because there's an important
Because
issue
my leg
we
hurt.
as a party have to face. And over a year ago, I said that Donald Trump was morally disqualified from being president again as a result of what happened on January 6th.
It had nothing to do with him.
Understanding the importance
It had
of
nothing
that,
fucking
including
do with
conservative legal scholars who says he may be disqualified under the 14th Amendment.
Who's this,
from being
Hutchinson?
president
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
As a result of
Hutchinson
the
is out of my
insurrection.
book too.
This is something
Oh my
that
God! It
could
wasn't an insurrection. You
disqualify him
fuck.
under our rules and under the Constitution.
Yeah, he's out. He's
And
done.
so,
His polls are going.
obviously,
He's
I'm not
going to
gonna support
0%.
Somebody who's been convicted of a serious felony or who is disqualified under our Constitution, and that's consistent with RNC rules. And I hope everybody would agree with me.
We're going to move on. No, we're going to.
Martha, can I answer the question?
Can I get in on that?
Okay, I'd like to answer.
Excuse me.
Can
I get
I'd like to answer the question you asked and not give a pre-canned speech. Mike Pence stood for the Constitution.
Oh.
And he deserves not grudging credit. He deserves.
Did you not
our
just hear what
thanks
everybody
as
else fucking
Americans
said?
For putting his oath of office and the Constitution.
Just tell me you
want to
vote for fucking Chicago deep dish. Just shut the fuck up.
Political and
cares?
unfair pressure. And the argument that we need to have in this party before we can move on to the issues
Don't do it.
Is pineapple or no pineapple on
we
pizza?
have to dispense with the person who said that we need to suspend the Constitution to put forward his political career. Mike Pence said no, and he deserves credit for it.
Okay. Governor Haley, we haven't heard from you on
Well, someone's getting their
How
duck-
many
their
times
stick-
did the other party talk about redoing the entire fucking Constitution?
I do think that Vice President Pence
How
did
many
the right
times
thing,
did they
and I do
say
think
that we need to get rid of the
we need to give him
Constitution
credit for that. But what I will
and just
also tell
rewrite
you
it
is,
and-
look, I mean, when it comes to whether President Trump should serve or not, I trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide. But what they will tell you is that it is time for a new generational conservative leader.
There's a dunderhead in Pennsylvania who can't even complete a fucking sentence that they allowed in Congress.
Trump and Biden. And we have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way.
Governor Williams?
Did you really just say that?
Happy to answer the question. Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th. But I want to say, you started off the top of this hour saying we're going to talk about China, Ukraine, education. We are. China is the #1 threat to our country. And every minute that these 8 candidates spend talking about the past instead about the future is time that is just, you know who loves it? Biden loves it, but China loves it when we're talking about the past.
Okay, as promised,
Not
we're
wrong.
going to spend
Teach
a few
me how to
questions on
Dougie.
it, let people say what they want to say, and now indeed we're moving on to the subject.
The U.S. has committed nearly 77.
Can I speak on this issue?
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
You did.
No.
Something.
Yeah.
We thought you were done, but you
No, I
please.
wasn't done.
Well, Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in making a commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate on the stage who had the courage to actually say it. That is how we move our nation forward. And turn the page forward. That's exactly right.
Will be convicted of these crimes.
You should be able to make a commitment. The same justice system that was this
Vivek,
corrupt.
here's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, I'm not a professional politician. That's the difference. Who can answer a question?
I've actually given pardons when I was governor of the state of Indiana. It usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may, you know, it's not about looking back at January 2021.
Hate him.
It's about January 20th, 2017. I put my left hand on Ronald Reagan's Bible. I raised my right hand. And I took an oath
It's not all
to support and
about
defend the
you,
Constitution of the
Mike.
United States. And it ended with a prayer. So help me God.
Hey, Rock, you got something to say?
It was a promise that I made to the American people.
Oh.
But I also
What do you want to say to Mike?
It made it to my Heavenly
okay.
Father.
That's what I thought.
Every day for 4 years, I sought to keep that oath. And everyone on this stage needs to make it clear whether or not they'll do the same. If they
Here's
win
the
this
thing.
job and the
You can
confidence
see
of the American people.
They
Now, look, I
hate
made it clear.
Donald
I
Trump
had hoped
so
that the issues
much.
surrounding the 2020
They hate
election
him
and controversies
so
around January 6th
much.
had not come to this,
They
had not come
can't
to criminal
contain themselves.
I would rather they had been
Because he's shown how much of a piece of shit the entire everyone is. It doesn't matter what side you're on. He showed everybody their cards, and they hate him for it. They hate him because
shows rhinos like all over the place.
But not only rhino, they just Carlin said it. They're in a big club and we're not in it. And he's absolutely right. And they hate him for showing the cards that he did and allowing the people to know that they're all pieces of shit. And they all hate him for it.
So a little over an hour ago is when the interview ended with Trump. And as of now, 76.8 million views.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'm going to check what this one is. This is on Fox News? I'll check. I'll get back to you guys.
The administration is now asking Congress for $24 billion more.
Well, I know Crowder's got like
that,
over 100,000 people watching.
Is there anyone on stage who would not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would
not support it.
Europe needs to step up. I mean, I would have Europe step up and do their job.
Mr. Ramaswamy, but you're saying you would not too, Governor DeSantis?
I will have Europe pull their weight. Right now, they're not doing that.
Would not support
and I think we need to do, and I think our support should be contingent on them doing it. And I would have support in China to be able to take China and do what we need to do with China.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an
Did he
invasion
lick
across
he
somebody
literally
else's border,
licked his finger.
when we should use those same military resources.
No, he
to
did
prevent
not.
the
You
invasion
went like
of
this?
our own southern border
Yeah.
here in the United States
Hold on.
of America.
But you're
Do their job.
Mr. Ramaswamy, but you're saying you would not too, Governor DeSantis?
Watch.
I will have Europe pull their weight. Right now, they're not doing
What's
it.
it? He's got his spare fingers.
Should be contingent on them doing it, and I would have support in China to be able to take China and do what we need to do with China.
How?
Oh, because he's wavering. How the wind blows.
I would not.
How do you not love that man?
Slay.
How do you not love that man? How do you not?
Somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America.
Wepa.
We are driving
I
Russia
see.
further into China's hands. The Russia-China alliance is the single greatest threat we face, and I find it offensive that we have professional politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage to Kyiv, to their Pope, Zelensky, without doing the same thing for people in Maui or the south side of Chicago or Kensington. I think that we have to put the interests of Americans first, secure our own border instead of somebody else's. And the reality is, this is also how we project strength by making America strong at home.
All right, we heard the names. Governor Christie first.
All right, look, I did go to Ukraine, and I went to Ukraine because I wanted to see for myself
That one
what
person.
Vladimir
Just
Putin's
shut up,
army
Mom.
was
Make me a
doing
sandwich.
to the free Ukrainian people. And let me tell you, I want you all to look around this arena tonight and imagine that every one of these seats was filled. And if every one of them was filled, there would still be 2,500 more children outside to make over 20,000 who have been abducted, stolen, ripped from their mothers and fathers, and brought back to Russia to be programmed to fight
Not our
their
problem.
own families. They
Not
have
our fucking
gouged
problem.
out people's
Sorry.
eyes,
Now
cut
we're
off
$2
their
billion.
ears,
200.
and
Sorry, $200 billion.
shot people in the back of the head, men, and then gone into those homes and raped.
And what happened to the
son-
people in the United
daughters
States that
and
that
the
happened
wives
to?
who were left as widows and orphans. This is the Vladimir Putin. This is the Vladimir Putin who Donald Trump called brilliant and a genius.
So every
If we don't
live stream
stand
I've
up
seen on
against
YouTube of this
type
debate
of
did not hit over
killing,
400,000.
we will be next.
And Tucker's interview was 76.8 million so far.
As President Pence was mentioned, you get 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, let me be clear. Anybody that thinks that we can't solve the problems here in the United States and be the leader of the free world has a pretty small view of the greatest nation on earth.
That is incorrect.
We can do both, Vivek. We've done both. We've been the leader of the free world and the arsenal of democracy.
Because we
for
keep
years.
giving our
The
money to
Reagan
everybody. That's the only
doctrine
reason
years ago
why.
made it clear. We said if you're willing to fight
We
the
fund
communists on your
everybody's
soil,
fucking country.
We'll give you the means to fight them there, so our
If
troops
we
don't
did it
have to
so
fight 'em.
good the
Vivek,
last
if we
time,
do
how
the
do we still have all
giveaway
these
that
fucking
you
problems?
want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long before he rolls
You know-
across a NATO border.
You know when the rich
and
kid keeps
frankly,
giving all
our
his
men and
people,
women
his
of our
friends
armed
money,
forces are gonna have to go
and
fight him.
they're his friends, and then when the rich kid stops giving the friends their money, they stop being his friend. It's the same thing what happens with America. When we stop giving them their money, they turn around and go fuck yourself.
I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990. The real threat, you talked about the communists, and the real communists that we have to address right now
have
is
any
the
idea what Vladimir Putin's aims
you
are.
already spoke. Now I actually have something to say.
Vladimir Putin has been saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere.
Oh shit,
made
he's
your
getting
point,
sad.
Vice President.
Now, if you think I'm sorry if I insulted him by calling him a communist. He is a dictator and a murderer, and the United States.
Oh, I thought he said that about Vivek.
I did too.
Mr. Ramaswamy, 30 seconds.
Respond. The real threat we face today is communist China, and we are driving Russia further into China's arms. The Russia-China military alliance.
Look at BRICS. They just had a freaking meeting in South Africa last week.
Mr. Vice President, we can't hear. Mr. Vice President,
to give Russia everything they've got.
Mr. Vice President,
Give them a promise that Ukraine will never be in NATO, and then somehow
Mr. Vice President.
China will not think about taking Taiwan. We achieve peace through strength.
Mr. Vice
and
President.
America needs to stand for freedom.
Okay, here we go.
I think we need to reestablish some ground rules
When
here,
we
folks.
hear this bell,
Yes.
that means your time's done.
We're done.
So, Mr. Vice President, we appreciate your aggressiveness here. 30 seconds is 30 seconds. Mr. Ramaswamy, you were mentioned. You get 30 seconds.
So the reality is that today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland.
All right.
That will be my top priority in foreign
I
policy.
think we gave you
protect
more
this
than the 30
homeland.
seconds in the rebut. So I do want to get to some other people because
No,
everybody.
that was probably like 20
we
seconds,
respect everybody's
'cause-
time here. So,
Whatever.
Governor Haley, you did not raise your hand, meaning that you would support more funding for the Ukraine war. You have said of Governor DeSantis that you didn't appreciate it when he initially called it a territorial dispute. Why?
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity. They need to know the difference between right and wrong. They need to know the difference between good and evil. When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5% of our defense budget has been given to Ukraine. If you look at the percentages
Oops, I
per
forgot I was on
GDP,
mute.
11 of the
Ramaswamy's
European
gonna give it
countries
to her
have
right
given
now.
more than the U.S. But what's really important is go back to when China and Russia held hands, shook hands before the Olympics, and named themselves unlimited partners. A win for Russia is a win for China. We have to know that. Ukraine is the first line of defense for us. And the problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan. He wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said, once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a pro-American country.
First of all, Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis, Governor
Nikki,
DeSantis,
I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on
but the fact of the matter,
and
Boeing came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week, Nikki.
You want to go and defund Israel? You want to
okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician.
What if you went over and bit her finger?
You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. I have to address that. So our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not a client relationship. It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is, I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Nikki.
Israel
that is the
needs
answer.
America needs Israel.
Okay, Governor DeSantis, you were mentioned in the territorial dispute. Not only...
no, it's not a territorial dispute
President
either.
of the United States, your first obligation is to defend our country and its people. And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people who are being killed because, well, we're not handling both. And so I am going to declare it a national emergency.
Yeah, get her, meatball.
You can tell the UN and her by her answer.
Pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border. That's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to use force, and we're going to leave them stone cold dead.
We're actually going to move on to China. We're going to talk about China.
Okay.
Governor Burgum. China has the biggest navy in the world.
They haven't talked to Glenn
Youngkin
Youngkin
they have warships
at all
off the coast of Alaska. They're threatening Taiwan.
The governor of
In the
Virginia.
coming years, China will have.
Yes.
50
I didn't even know he was there
nuclear
either.
warheads,
He's
it's
next to
believed.
Tim
The
Scott.
U.S. just arrested 2 sailors accused of spying for China
He's
within
all the
our
way
military.
to the right.
So the question is, how would you deter China as a president, Burgum?
Oh, I thought that's Doug.
Well, this is the number one issue we're
That
facing,
guy.
and of course
No?
we haven't been
Oh, it might
talking
be.
about it, and we act like
I could
letting
be wrong.
Russia win in the Ukraine is like a gimme as opposed to a gift to China. Russia has become China's gas station. But how would we do it? The Biden administration is a complete fail. China imports 10 million barrels of oil a day, more than any other country in the world. They do not even have all the food they need to feed everybody in that country, so they don't have energy security or food security. But the Biden administration sends Blinken.
All right, guys, it's my time.
over there.
I'm going to head out.
They're
All right, buddy.
But,
Thanks for
they're
joining
have
us.
a good night.
because they're
And
too busy trying to
I'll
kill
anyone
see
the
listening
you
out there,
tomorrow.
And what we
Two
need
Jacks,
to do
one
is
Scotch,
not meetings, not
Thursdays.
press releases,
Catch us there.
because
Hey,
something that would
hold on,
send a
hold on.
lot more than a press release.
Do your plugs.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much all of them. Follow Willie Schatz on Twitter at Admiral Schatz. That guy always has some good shit on there. And
Oh yeah,
There you
very
go.
informative.
that's pretty much all I've been doing so far. My band is going to be recording an album soon
Fuck yeah.
in November,
Nice.
I believe.
This, so we've been having a discussion, and I think we need to have you in on the discussions of what me and Biz and Jackie are trying, what we want to do with this. And I think we talked about it last time about with the band and stuff like that. So yeah,
Right on.
I think
like showcase the band and the thing
Yeah.
that
and do the
That'd be pretty cool.
podcast and the band and take this joke around the road.
Hell yeah.
Because we were thinking about fuck it, we'll just say it. We were thinking about taking this on the road, and then Mama J would be at home and she'd be the Jamie, and we'd set up a screen behind us and she'd put up all the stuff, and we'll take this bad boy on the road, because you know what, we were talking about the last week we were talking about like Alphabet and everything like that is censoring people. So we'll just, we'll just go out on the road and just take it out there.
Google censoring independent media. Yeah.
So we'll just take this shit on the road, and we'll do maybe your band will do the podcast, and then the band plays after that, and get 2 for 1 on that. You know?
Fuck yeah, that sounds like a dope ass idea.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
yeah,
so we have to. We should start having a network meeting. Also, it's what we need
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, that's true. That would be cool.
But all right, pal.
Let's take this shit to the next level. To
You,
11.
listen, you have no fucking idea how badly I want to.
Fuck yeah.
All right, pal.
Yeah.
See you later.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
That border wall complete.
There are many more questions on China. I do want to ask about.
I want to say I couldn't agree more. It's not just the 70,000 from fentanyl. We've lost 200,000
Oh, I was
people
wrong.
to
It wasn't
overdoses
Glenn
since
Youngkin.
Biden
It
took
is
office.
this guy.
That's 300 people a day. We're taking mass casualties, and that's a statistic. But these are sons and daughters, nieces and nephews that we're losing. We've got North Dakota troops down there flying night helicopter missions from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop these transnational criminal organizations. They've got better funding on their side than we've got on our side.
Speaking of which, Governor Hutchinson. Speaking of which, images from earlier this month, Governor Hutchinson
with Mexico.
Vice President
Oh my God.
Images from earlier this month. Vice President Pence, it really doesn't help. I'm asking a question. Earlier this month, images showed suspected cartel members crossing into Texas with rifles. Do you consider this an invasion? Would you authorize lethal force along that border?
There would be lethal force used by the Border Patrol, law enforcement as needed to protect the border. Absolutely. When you look at the military has to be used for intelligence gathering purposes. This is not unusual. Whenever I was in the Bush administration, we went down there and met with President
I was in the
Vicente
bushes.
Fox of Mexico and asked his help in going after the cartels. And he looked at me and said, they're a problem to us as well. And so we joined together and we took down the Ariana Felix brothers leading the Tijuana cartel. And that made a difference. Ramon was shot and killed and Ben Amin was captured. Cooperation makes a difference. We cannot be successful going against the cartel unless we bring in Mexico as a partner. We have to use economic pressure to accomplish that. President Obrador has not been helpful, and we have to use economic pressure that this administration is not using. The rule of law has to matter on both sides of it.
Okay.
This is critical. I've done it. We know what needs to be done. The military has to be limited in its use. When after 9/11, we had the global war on terror, and guess what? We protected the border at the same time. You can do both.
Okay, let's go to Governor DeSantis. So as president, would you support sending U.S. Special Forces over the border into Mexico to take out fentanyl labs, to take out drug cartel operations? Would you support that kind of American military use?
Yes, and I will do it on day one. Here's the thing. The cartels are
Oh, so now
killing
we're gonna get into a
tens of
war with
thousands
Mexico.
of our fellow citizens. You want to talk about a country in decline? You have the cartels
That's a
controlling
tough
a
question.
lot
You
of
can't
part of your
just flippantly
southern
be like,
border.
of
We have
course.
to reestablish the rule of law, and we have to defend our people. The President of the United States has got to use all available powers as Commander-in-Chief to protect our country and to protect the people. So when they're coming across, yes, we're going to use lethal force. Yes, we reserve the right
Don't
to
say you're
operate. How
military.
many
Just
more
send
tens
the
of
CIA
thousands are we
spooks
gonna
in
let to
there
die?
and
I
do
am
it
saying- I've met
clandestinely.
angel moms throughout this country. I met a
Don't
lady
tell
in
'em your
Texas named
plan.
Tracy, and her son.
That's what I
That's
hate
what
about
the
these.
CIA is
One
for.
Percocet that was laced
Hello?
with fentanyl immediately died. That is happening all across this country because of the poison that they are bringing in. So as president, would I use force? Would I treat them as foreign terrorist organizations? You're darn right I would.
You know, Vice President Pence.
You're darn right I would. Darn
Well, I
tootin'.
mean, they are.
Why would you be better at this issue than Governor DeSantis? Governor DeSantis on the campaign trail
You have
refers
to-
to your administration as not finishing the wall.
Right, right. Look, we secured the southern border of the United States of America and reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. When Joe Biden took over, he threw open the southern border of the United States, and the wave of humanity, the wave of fentanyl
Martha's
that's been
like, "Of
eloquently
course."
described here is a wave of human tragedy across this country. But Martha, you began this evening talking about who is best prepared to be the next president of the United States. And I have to tell you, with all humility, I was there when we negotiated through the government shutdown and got the funding available to build the wall. I was negotiating on Capitol Hill around the clock. I negotiated the Remain in Mexico policy on behalf of the President of the United States. And AC, you're so right. It's because we used economic pressure to bring the Mexicans to the table, and they allowed us to have people wait in Mexico while they applied for asylum and ended asylum abuse overnight. We got the Mexicans to deploy their National Guard to their southern border and to our southern border as never before. And I want to promise you, as President of the United States of America, I will
what are you
engage
gonna? They're never
Mexico
gonna
the
ask them. So
exact
what are you gonna
same
do
way,
if
and we
Mexico
will
decides to be
partner
part of
with the
BRICS?
Mexican military, and we will hunt down and destroy the cartels that are claiming lives in the United States.
Because they
of America.
told BRICS
Another issue that is
they
related
want to
to
join.
this is that almost 7 million
You know what I hate
have crossed this
is they have to
border,
tell you
our southern border,
if you were
during the
so
Biden
good at this, people would already know
Governor
this.
Christie, what would you
Why
do
do you need to
about
tell
the 7
people?
million
You know what
who
I
are
did?
Here? How would you handle them?
If you were good at what you did, you wouldn't have to. Trump doesn't tell everybody. Well, he does, but you know what I mean. It's like
then the next thing we need
because
to
the news
do
tells everybody what he
folks
did
that are
do.
here is to, again, as we've talked about all night tonight, we have to have law and order in this country. We have to enforce the law. And what that means is to make sure that people who come
I didn't take
here
it myself. I told everybody
are
did,
not
but I didn't.
rewarded for being here legally. We have so many wonderful people from around the world who are waiting in line, following the law to try to come here and pursue.
I mean, Christy. Everybody knows Christy Nome because she stood up to the fucking the vaccine mandates. Everybody knows Ron DeSantis because he stood up to the vaccine mandates. Everybody knows what Ron DeSantis did in Florida. If you're the fucking vice president, there's no need to tell us what you did. We know you're a treasonous piece of shit.
With China, we can't take our eye off of that ball. Yes, it's important that we secure the border. Very important, as I just said. But China is sending these chemicals to these drug cartels for them to create the fentanyl
I
that
am
is killing
surprised
hundreds of
no
thousands
one
of our
is
citizens.
talking
The
about
Chinese are engaging
BRICS
in an act of war
at
against
all.
us, killing our citizens. We better make that priority one in our conversations
You
with
want
China.
to talk about a
and to try to
problem?
straighten that
BRICS is the
relationship out,
problem.
because if we don't,
You
we're
got
gonna
to
lose
talk
more and
about
more
the
of our
Brazil.
citizens.
You've got to talk about the Russia, the
send
India,
those
the
people
China,
back?
South Africa, all these other Saudi
You have to.
Arabia, and Mexico, and all these other
We have a
countries
lot
that
of
want to be a
issues
part
that
of it
Americans
too.
care about. Next up, we're going to talk about the crisis in education, as millions of American children are not proficient in reading or math. After this.
Okay.
Do you trust our government and where the economy is heading?
No.
Does the thought of losing your hard-earned retirement savings to DC's reckless spending scare the heck out of you?
Okay.
Well, you're not alone. Smart Americans are
I'm
taking
okay
action while
to
they
just
still
like
can by reaching
not
out to
finish.
Birch Gold
I've
Group.
seen enough.
For over 20 years, Birch Gold
Okay.
has helped concerned Americans protect their
And my
futures
battery's
by
gonna
moving
die.
part of an
But
existing
We've done it.
your thoughts?
Vivek stole the show.
Yeah.
Vivek stole the show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He stood there and said there is no climate crisis. And he stood
Yeah, I
there
know.
and told everybody to shove it up their ass.
Yeah. He needs to just be a little bit more confident. I know that sounds like ridiculous to say, but he does, because I think he needs to just keep doing what he's doing, just be a little bit more confident, because I think the other people think that they could boss him around or whatever. He should have just bitch slapped Nikki, and he didn't do it, and he would have had my respect. I'm just kidding. That's not right. But
Joke, folks. It's a joke.
No. So it's a joke. It's a joke, everybody. But no, he just needs to be a little bit more confident but not cocky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he should say, yeah, this might be one of my flaws, but if you guys have been in power, in this type of power for so long, then why haven't you done shit?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I mean, listen, he kind of
It's
was. I'm
annoying.
not gonna lie to you.
I know.
He was telling them all they ain't shit. He was telling them all, like, to their faces. To their faces,
Yeah.
which the man has some balls. The man has some balls. And and people question his like morals and ethics and everything like that, but to do that on a debate stage, and listen, it could be a false flag, you know, but so far what he's saying, he's not lying about anything. They are all backed by people. It doesn't matter what you say. They all have a backing. So he's not wrong there. He sat there and basically, like, I can't. There's not. The man told everybody they ain't shit. They just had to take it.
And also he was very. I will say he was very, like, you could tell he was very strong in his convictions, in the sense of when they asked, like, would you pardon Trump, and he's like, yes, I would.
Yeah.
Like, would you do this? Yes, I would. Like, he would confidently, and not be like, what is everyone else doing?
First one to raise his it's so nasty. How do you? I just don't. How do you not like? He's the fucking monkey wrench in the whole thing, and like I said, he's Trump.
They're pissed too. You can tell they're pissed.
Absolutely.
They're like, I'm gonna go through this fucking shit again.
But that's what the people want. They're sick and tired of the nonsense bullshit of Mike Pence's answer, Chris Christie's answer. Everybody's got this fucking. Even Nikki Haley didn't. Nikki Haley was pretty honest. She gave good answers.
Yeah.
She gave a little bit of UN answers, like you stated, but you know she gave and even DeSantis kind of, you know, he didn't do bad. He didn't do bad,
He
but
didn't do great.
He's got good. He's just too robotic. That's the problem. Vivek's not. Vivek's there. Yeah. You know?
Thought he was going to put his finger in his ear. I didn't know what was going to happen.
He told Chris Christie to give him a hug. It's like, come on, give me a hug. Like,
he said, give me a warm bear hug. That's what he said.
He's a breath of fucking fresh. Like, and I've said this before, he's Trump with couth. He's Trump with couth.
The establishment GOP are fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And you can tell. I mean, here's the thing, is that these people cannot understand. They have all these little yes people in their ear being like, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it, and blah, blah, blah. It's not your grandma's GOP. It's not. It's not. No. Trump blew it up. It's blown up. It is different. And all the people that you thought that you could rely on, that voted for Trump in 2016, that voted for him in 2020, that helped you out in the midterms in 2018 and 2022, they're not Republicans. They're not a hardcore Republicans or conservatives. They're just not. They're all moderates or disaffected liberals or Democrats. And the thing is, if you go in hard strong on like what the GOP was or they want them to be, you're gonna lose people.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they feel like they have this stronghold, like, oh, the tide is turning, things are changing. But no, people still are wavering on like, okay, which way am I gonna go? So you can't think that the people that were voting for Donald Trump are going to be the same people that are just going to keep voting Republican, because they're not.
Nope.
And they feel it, and they have this mindset that they are, and it's going. That's why they lost it in 2022. In 2020, in 2022, in the midterms, like,
they just
heads need to come out of the tuckuses of the people in the top.
But they're they're so ingrained into, like, the one thing the Democrats do good is once they see their teeth kind of getting kicked in, they kind of assimilate. You know, when the squad told Nancy Pelosi to go screw, Nancy Pelosi kind of tried to put them in their place, and they went no,
Reeled them in. Yeah.
and then you know, Nancy had to throw some money at them and whatnot, but they still were just like, nope, fuck that. And then they were like, well, Israel, and they were like, nope, Muslims are better. Fuck you guys. And they were just like, and they assimilated to it. So that's what the Democrats do a lot better. They'll go, okay, and they assimilate. The GOP is just fractured, and you have the old school and the new school. And as much as Marjorie Taylor Greene,
it's not your turn. It's my turn.
and as much as Marjorie Taylor Greene and all those you know, they say some crazy outlandish shit, but you know what? A lot. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But you know, you can't just keep giving people the fucking the note card answers, because eventually people are going to tell you to take those note cards and shove them up your ass, and they're going to go with the Vivek.
And that's why honestly, like, that's why, like, the never Trumpers, like the Lincoln Project people, like, they're the reason why there's no. What am I gonna say? Is that they are not wanting to assimilate to the new type of party. They wanted to keep it the way that it always was, and they're like afraid of change. And it's just like, if you want to win, and if you have any iota of care for the country at all, then you switch your tactics. But they don't give a shit. So
no. And that's why you will never, that's why you won't see for right now, and I'm not gonna, I said never, but that's why for right now you will see the Democrats winning more than the GOP. And that's why, the GOP might come up a little bit better sometimes, or, you know, because we didn't have this red wave like everybody thought. We didn't have this red wave that everybody thought. It's because they keep doing the same fucking, it's like the Jets. You run the same fucking plays all the time, and eventually somebody's gonna go, we know we can take the handoff. This is the play they're gonna run. Like, you can't keep running the same fucking plays. Change it up. Do something different. Even if, okay, say you do change up the plays and you don't get where you want to get, change it up again. Change it up again. And then eventually you change it up so much that people don't know what the fuck you're doing. And then the people are like, wait a minute, wait, I thought they were in this formation, but they did this. What, they don't do that in this formation. Like, what? Yeah, and that's what the Democrats are doing.
Well, and what happened with the whole Donald Trump thing, though, is like, when it comes to, you know, so him blowing up the GOP, what happened is that people are like, okay, I'm done with politicians. I want the truth. And like, now these politicians are still wanting to politician and do like the slimy, schmarmy, like, type of things, and people can see it. And then they're like, no, I just want you to tell me the truth. The good, the bad, the ugly. I don't care. Tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And they're trying to play this game, and it's just not working anymore. And people are just over it.
And it's for a political party to center themselves on God, they lie more than any other person. You center yourself on being truthful and honest, like God, and you want to be a godly person, yet you do nothing but lie. And I can't believe somebody like that. At least the Democrats, I know, they're godless fucks, and you know, and they don't care, and that's fine. At least you know where they stand. But if you're gonna sit there, and it's like it's a harsh thing to assimilate it to, but it's like priests that go after children. They're not men of God. They're not.
Yeah.
They are the devil incarnate. They are doing the devil's work, portraying themselves as godly men or godly people. They're not. And that's what the GOP is. The GOP is that. So they got to do something. They got to change their playbook, because
they're gonna lose people fast.
Quickly. They're gonna lose, and it's gonna give the Democrats all the power and everything.
Oh yeah, because you got a bunch of people who are switching from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party, only to as quickly see that it's not the best alternative. So you got a bunch of people waiting in the pool, in the middle.
Yeah.
So
and it sucks because, you know, if they started a third party, it just fracture one party, you know?
Yeah.
Because the Democrats, everybody just wants to get free shit. Nobody, and that's the huge problem. Everybody thinks that getting free shit is the ideal way, and nobody wants to earn shit anymore. But thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Everybody, pray for Biz's speedy recovery for being made fun of for his helmet. But tomorrow, don't forget 2 Jacks 1 Scotch. Friday is the We Don't Know Either podcast. Sunday we will be here with the Weekend Hangover. And next week you can catch us. And next Tuesday, Wednesday, you can catch us 7 o'clock, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Yeah, maybe by next week the Trump thing will be something else that will come up, but maybe we'll do some of the Trump stuff. Because I still want to talk about Biden. Well, maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll do that in another show. But I want to talk about Biden going to Hawaii, because that dude got fucking booed. He got.
Why don't we talk a little bit about that on Sunday?
Yeah. Okay. We could do that.
Okay, let's do that.
Because he got booed, and people were asking him about children going missing. They asked the mayor about children going missing, and the mayor was like, "We can just cut this short." And they're like, "And this is what I'm talking. This is what we're talking about. If your mayor does not want to answer your questions, get rid of him." With that, you can find me at MW Troublemaker on Twitter. You can find me at Troublemaker Davey on TikTok, Just Davey on TikTok, and Business Party Network on TikTok. All the links are in. I forgot I put the links in the Business Party Network TikTok account. So we put clips on there.
Cool.
And yeah, you can find us there. Twitter, Biz Party Network on Twitter. Join us there so we can try to get to 500. You know, and you know, Mama J.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter, X, at Suburban Mama 1. That's Suburban Mama, the number 1. And yeah, so thank you guys again for hanging out.
And fuck the moon. We're going to Uranus.
We're going to Uranus. Woo!